Assalamualaikum Cik Nazri. Cik Nazri, saya dah jadikan Cik Nazri co-host tapi Laili tak masuk lagi, so saya tak saya tak tak dapat nak add dia. So Cik Nazri boleh check nama dekat nama dekat senarai tu, nama yang dikenali saja yang dibenarkan masuk lah. Lepas tu kalau macam nama-nama yang tak dikenali tu, Cik Nazri sebut nama tu dekat dalam Telegram group macam Faizal buat last week, cakap please use your real name and register semula. Cik Nazri boleh dengar ke? Saya cakap tadi? Cik Nazri punya suara tak dengar. Cik Nazri dengar tak? Sebab saya tak dengar suara Cik Nazri langsung. Kenapa tak dengar Saya tak ada mute mikrofon pun.
Okey dah.
Tak dengar dah? So,
nak admit all.
Jangan admit all sebab ada yang tak dikenali tau. Macam hari tu ada yang tak dikenali. So bila tak dikenali, Cik Nazri ambil nama dia tu. Contohnya macam ada satu tu iPhone je. Tak tahu siapa iPhone tu. So ataupun satu lagi Anil Zam tu, siapa tak kenal. So sebut nama tu dekat dalam Telegram group. Cakap nama ni tidak dikenali ataupun in English lah sebab banyak international participants kan. Cakap the person who's using this name, please register using your real name because we cannot recognize then we cannot admit lah kan. Laili tak masuk lagi
Dah.
Laili dah masuk. Yang mana satu dia? Yang iPhone tu dia. Yang iPhone tu ke dia?
Lily, kau iPhone Lily?
Masih tak dapat lagi.
Pakai apa ni? Kena pakai apa ni? Nama betul.
Nama betul? Kat mana nama betul dia?
Nak lepas satu-satu tak?
Lepas satu-satu. Check one by one, masukkan. Tapi sekarang saya tak masukkan lagi lah sebab Laili tak dapat masuk lagi ni kan.
Lah dekat sana. Ya.
Nak membantu je soalan kerja, saya rasa orang yang sama tak. Memang dia macam ni Cuba tengok.
Ya.
Macam ni je. Oh, kena download dulu. Kau kena ada apps dia. Zoom
Tak payah download tu. Siapa cakap dengan Laili tu? Kalau pakai phone, yes kena download. Kalau tak payah pakai phone.
Tak, sekarang ni semua pakai handphone.
Oh, semua pakai phone. Kalau pakai phone memang kena
laptop.
download. Memang kena download. Ramai dah masuk 34 orang dah.
Saya lepas satu-satu dah.
Tapi Laili dah masuk belum tu?
Dah masuk belum?
lah macam ni je. Suruh tunggu sebentar je. Ini saya pakai line saya bukan pakai line dia.
Belum.
Dah ramai lah Cik Nazri, saya terpaksa allow masuk dululah ya.
Okey.
Yang saya kenal saya add dulu Cik Nazri. Nanti yang lain tu Cik Nazri tolong tengokkan.
Okey.
Kak Suzy.
Ya.
Kenal tak siapa Anil Zam?
Sekejap.
Siapa
Tak
Anil
kenal.
Zam Bukan
Tak
Bukan
kenal.
orang daripada UIA
Bukan I call unless nama nickname lah.
Ya.
Assalamualaikum Izan.
Waalaikumsalam. Kak Noya.
Khabar?
Rindu.
Sihat
Tengok saya punya pipi ni macam terlebih sihat kot rasanya kan.
You suka masak?
Please silence your microphone ya. Upon entering, because the noise from the surrounding area is coming into the workshop. Mr. Muhammad Amrullah. I have to mute you ya. Okay. Kak Marina, baru perasan. Lama tak jumpa.
Hi, sir.
Hai.
Dr. Syarul, apa khabar?
Lihat. Siapa tu?
Madam Hafizah.
Kat mana? Oh, nampak kat bawah. Okey. Cik Nazri, tolong check siapa Anil Zam ni? Tak kenal. Ada tak siapa-siapa peserta yang kenal siapa Anil Zam?
Anisam from Mazlina.
Mazlina. Maknanya nama dia ada dekat dalam list lah.
Ada.
Okey. Cik Nazri tolong approve sekali yang tengah menunggu ni. Yang iPhone tu, I think Cik Nazri ada tanya tak dekat dalam grup Telegram. Ada nama dia iPhone je, tak kenal siapa.
Lain.
Itu Laili ke?
Ya, saya Lili.
Hmm. Madam Akmal.
Izan ada saya hari ni
Okey.
Tak payah. Ni kacau. Kalau kita nak mute kan? Kita mute kat situ.
okey. Izan,
Ya.
Okay, test microphone.
Okay.
Okay, okay, right.
Ya, Assalamualaikum. Dr. Mizan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi Ustaz Amir.
Ya, apa khabar? Ramai dekat join ni?
Lebih kurang macam hari tu lah Ustaz.
Ya, Dr. Majidah nampak tu.
Mana? Ada ke kat jam?
Ada tu nampak tu.
Nak check kurus ke tak?
Tak boleh check tu.
Kat Syok mana kat Syok ada tak? Kita nak compare kita kan siapa yang kurus.
Memang tak lah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat Azizah.
Dengar tak? Dengar.
Cik Nazri, semua peserta dah masuk ke kalau ikut list?
Belum.
Tak boleh Ahmad. It's unstable.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Mizan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Dr. Mizan, macam mana you buat background tu? Best lah hari tu yang pokok kelapa. Ni apa pula tu? Nanti kena ajar sikit.
Oh, okey. Boleh. Apa kata sementara tengah tunggu ni saya ajar terus sebelum kita start secara formal. Saya rasa orang yang dah biasa guna Zoom dah tahu kot. Okay, I'll be speaking in English for since I know that there are some international participants in the workshop. So that Prof. Noashima has just asked me to enlighten a bit in terms of how we can change the virtual background. Yeah. Okay. Since we are going to talk about the virtual background, I'm just going to give the safety announcement. Yeah. So kepada semua penumpang, sila pasangkan tali kera dan berhenti merokok. Pengumuman keselamatan ini mungkin berbeza daripada pesawat yang anda naiki sebelum ini. Sila tumpukan perhatian. Ada gaya pramugara tak?
Oh, lebih dah tu.
Okay, alright. Oh, Dr. Nuraini pun ada. Okay, so if you look at the bottom of your screen, yeah, you will see that there are two buttons on your left. Okay, one with the microphone symbol, another one is the video cam symbol. Alright, so please mute your microphone at all times. Yeah, it's not that I don't welcome any questions or comments. You're very much welcome to do so in the chat section of Zoom for this workshop. But the reason why we have to mute our microphone is because the surrounding noises will be coming into the workshop area. So please mute your microphone at all times, okay? And do not turn off your video cam throughout the workshop because this is a safety step that we're taking to ensure that only the no hackers are actually among us. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to change your virtual background, just click at the small arrow button near your video cam. At your video cam button, there's a small arrow over there. Okay, you can try that. Once you click the small arrow button at the video cam button, a menu will pop up. Okay, choose virtual background. Click on that one. Okay. So when you click on choose virtual background, you can use any of the virtual backgrounds provided by Zoom. Okay. So you want to give it a try? Change your virtual background. Okay, but the one that I'm using is my own virtual background, which I downloaded from Canva. So that one is a little bit different lah. You can always okay, I can see Kak Suzy now is using Aurora Borealis. Kak Nulia now is in San Francisco. Okay, so that's how you use the virtual background function. Basically, the purpose is to hide whatever surrounding at your home kan. You don't want people to see while you are having a meeting to make it more professional maybe lah. But I don't usually use it for making it more professional. I use it to make it more fun with my students. So I use various virtual backgrounds to make it more lively and fun lah. Alright.
How to do it? Because I got none here, so there's no any. Yeah.
Maybe because sometimes it also depends on your Zoom version. So maybe your Zoom version is not updated, so it does not have any virtual background. So you have to add one on your own lah, basically. So you can just That one takes a few steps lah. Basically, tapi I just explain just for in short lah ya. Basically, just go to Google and just type free virtual backgrounds, and options will come out, so you can just download into your computer and then you upload it back onto the virtual background.
Oh, okay.
So when you go to the video to upload your own virtual background, you just click on the small arrow button on the video cam button again. You go to the option choose virtual background. Once that comes out, you will see a small plus button. A small plus button that choose virtual background. So you just click on that and then you can just choose whether you want to add image or video. Okay?
Okay then, thank you, inshallah.
All right. Or another easier option, Prof, what you can do is once we have finished the workshop after this, you can just update your Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Because before this, I only had 2 virtual backgrounds, but once I've updated my Zoom, then they gave me more lah. It's a newer version of Zoom. Wow, Kak Jam, your kitty cat.
Zoom? You just put update Zoom.
Yes, just update your Zoom version, yeah. Okay, so now it's already 10:31. I'll be starting the workshop now. Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, everyone. Thank you for coming to the second series for online learning workshop for law lecturers. Welcome back to those who have attended last workshop, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Okay, all right. I just would like to inform that Encik Hashim is not able to be with us today. Encik Hashim is a technical officer from our pengajaran UKM, but since UKM has just started working just very recently, this Monday. So he's working today, so he can't join this program. So he's replaced by 2 staffs from my office, Encik Nazri Osman. Encik Nazri, can you wave a bit to everyone so that they know who you are and where you are? Okay, and another one is Cik Laili. Cik Laili is using iPhone, so Cik Laili tengah melambai kat situ. Alright, but I would have to be very frank about this. Both of my staffs are actually in the office. As you can see, their background is the same. So they are working today, but I'm doing this from home. Okay, so the internet, the Wi-Fi internet at UKM is not very stable at the moment. We are looking into it lah. So there are times when if you ask any questions to both of them, it might take a little bit of time for them to respond back to you. Okay, and number 2, both of them are not technical officers. So there are times when they might not be able to tend to all technical issues lah. Okay, but I can try to help. But somebody would have to alert me if there's anything going on lah, yeah. Because as I'm delivering the workshop, then I would have some problems trying to concentrate on so many things at one time. Okay, so that's just to enlighten everyone on what's going on today in the workshop. All right. There were some questions in the Telegram about last week's workshop on why was there black boxes appearing at the bottom of the screen when I was screen sharing, and there was also a black box on top of the screen on the right side, sometimes on the left side. This is something that we can't avoid because this is due to internet connection and also to the limitation of my own laptop actually. Because when Encik Hashim screen share, you will notice that there was no black box appearing anywhere. The black box is actually my control button in Zoom, because when I screen share, I don't have a control taskbar. So the control taskbar is the black box that you see. You see it as a black box, but I see it as a control taskbar on my own screen. Actually, if the graphic card is very high, then the black box should not be appearing. Or if the internet connection is very stable, the black box will disappear. So that's why you notice sometimes the black box disappears, sometimes it comes back. It is due to that reason, yeah? All right, so I do apologize for that as of now. I do not have another laptop to use, and the internet connection that I have is the one that I have. So I am not able to do anything about that, except that I will try my best to move the taskbar as far as possible from the screen that I'm sharing, that I will be sharing. Okay. So if there are no other questions, I will just proceed. Encik Nazri and Encik Laili, you can help me by checking the names of the participants. If there's any noise coming in from anybody's microphone, you have to check the list of participants, and if there's any movement in the microphone icon, it means the noise is coming from there, so just mute that person. Okay, and make sure that you approve all the participants if they got disconnected and they're coming back in. Yeah. All right. I think there's one question from Dr. Maizatun in the chat section. I think we need a green screen, kan? Tak, no. You can have a green screen if you want to, but for the purpose of changing the virtual background, you don't actually need a green screen in Zoom lah. Okay. Okay. If there are no other questions, then I will start my presentation. Yeah. Today's presentation is more interactive in comparison to last workshop's content, because in the last workshop we were talking about lectures. Okay, but this week is more on activities. So most of the time I will be simulating the activities with you. So have your smartphones ready nearby. So Zoom is for Zoom should be open in your laptop, and your smartphone should be used for all the apps lah. This time you have to use your smartphone. You can't open from a different window because you have to feel how your students will feel, because they'll be using their smartphones and you'll be opening it from your laptop. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'll be screen sharing now. Hang on, yeah. Okay. Okay. There's one question from Sodiq Umula. Dr. Mizan, when can we get the recording of the previous session? Okay, the recording from the previous session is still in the editing process, and Cik Hashim informed me this morning that it's almost done. Okay, because he's trying to help you guys with the black box. He's trying to cut the black box out and paste the missing pieces onto the black box that is in the recording. Okay, it will be ready, I think, by today. There will be also an ebook that I'm still in the process of preparing. You'll be also getting that soon to help you on doing your online learning. All right, so I'll be screen sharing now. So can Cik Nazir boleh nampak tak screen saya?
Okay, nampak.
Boleh. All right. Okay. So do you see any black box on top? Okay, I'm trying to minimize the black boxes if it appears. Yeah. Okay. So today's topic is how to conduct tutorials online. Okay, for law. Okay. I know there are some participants who are not from the law background. You have requested to join the workshop as an observer. Okay, it's okay. Whatever that you can adapt from the content for your own discipline, you are very much welcome to do so. Yeah. Okay, for today's tutorials, I've listed the apps that I will be using. I hope that by now everyone has installed the apps in your smartphone. Yeah. Okay. You can get those apps from Play Store. If you are using Android, if you're using iOS, then you'll be getting it from your Apple Store. All right. Okay. So we'll start with the session. So for those of you who have not attended the last workshop, I'm going into this workshop tips. For those of you who did attend, this is just a refresher lah. Okay, the workshop tips is number one, laptop is for Zoom, smartphone is for app simulations. You need both throughout the workshops, so do not open your Cik Nazri, please ni check siapa yang mikrofon yang berbunyi tu selain daripada saya punya mikrofon. Laili, can you check that please? I hope everybody can silence your microphone. Yeah? Okay. So number two, the workshop is to enrich your options, but you don't have to use all apps introduced, because after the workshop last week, some have actually texted me personally and asked if there is any apps or tool that can give you everything. You don't actually have that because the tool is designed for certain purposes. Maybe there are some tool which has lots of functions, but it won't be able to cater everything that you need. So you have to choose tool which suits the instructional objectives that you are trying to achieve. Remember last week I have taught everyone on how to instructionally design your course, how to design your instruction, all right? So when you design your instruction, your need analysis phase, you have to check whatever outcomes from the need analysis. You have to check what tool would be suitable. Okay, so number 3, if you feel lost, you may still ask questions later in Telegram group, and there will be video tutorials and ebook to refer to. Okay, number 4 is a sharing session, not a teaching session per se. So if you have anything that you wish to share, I may not know everything. I will be sharing, actually not teaching, I will be sharing things which I use in class, okay? But if there's anybody in the workshop that has the experience of using something else, like for example, Prof. Aiman last week shared with us on Clipchamp, right? So if you have anything that you have used which could help the participants in this workshop, please feel free to do so. Okay, number 5, I have my own channel. It's not under my name, but some of you actually contacted me after last week's workshop and said that, oh doctor, I've been to your channel, but there's nothing there. It's not under my name, Shahrul Mizan, it's not, no, it's under Dr. M's channel, Dr. Mizan's channel, Dr. M's channel. So the video tutorials are all there. Okay, so these are the workshop tips. Okay, this is the structure for my presentation for today. Number 1, we are going to have a short survey, not as long as last week's because last week was the first workshop. So this week we're going to have a short survey using Mentimeter. Okay, and just 4 questions. So we'll be going into that to identify the purpose of this workshop. And number 2, we'll be going a bit into the theory of active learning. Number 3, we'll try to understand the VARC model a bit. I will not be going too detailed into these 2 topics, okay? As I was telling you in the last workshop, these 2 topics, this kind of topics could actually be a workshop on its own, yeah? All right. Number 4, I will after that identify tutorial approaches and styles commonly adopted by law instructors. And number 5, I will match and apply suitable online tools to tutorial approaches in law. Okay, so we will now go to the first one, workshop demographic survey and identifying purpose. So for this, we will, okay, I'm moving the taskbar down. You see the black box now is moving down if it's appearing lah. Okay, so I will now, you can check your Mentimeter and prepare for the class code. Okay. The class code is as on the screen. It's 872513. So you can insert your input. Ya. Cik Najul, kalau ada apa-apa soalan atau komen dalam, Cik Najul dengan Laili, kalau ada soalan atau komen dekat dalam chat room, tolong maklumkan kepada saya ya. Saya tak boleh nak baca apa tu chat room tu. Okay, only 43 participants have responded. There are about 60 something participants, so we are still waiting. Any more? Okay. Only 5 people play games with their students. I'm guessing one of them is Dr. Majida. Anybody else? Okay. So it looks as though it's quite even between distributing tutorial questions beforehand and assigning students to answer. I know this is quite popular among law lecturers, because even when I was a student, this was actually the most common method of tutorials. Getting the tutorial questions beforehand, and then when we enter the class, lecturers will start to pinpoint who is supposed to answer the questions, or maybe sometimes it's done in groups, right? And and the other one that is also quite quite common is we work together in groups. Lecturers will put us in groups and ask us to work together as students, right? And also you ask students to do presentations. Okay. Exercises I think would refer very much to subjects which requires exercises like knitting, or maybe professional practice, or review procedure, where you have to do things rather than just answering questions or working together in a group. Okay. Okay, more are actually submitting their answer. All right. If there are no other answers, 56 so far. Anybody else submitting answers? I really hope that everyone will be sporting enough lah for today to participate, because today it will be a lot on activities rather than lectures. Okay, next question. Wow, challenging, intense, but fun. I wonder who that is. Yeah, fun, engaging, and exciting. Okay. Effective, fun, two-way communications, problem solving, participative, interrogative, critical. Okay. Fun, engaging, informative, busy, interactive. I like the word busy, interactive, cooperative. Practice-based, yeah, simulation-based, and fun. Students on standby, wow, okay. Relax, yep, good. Relax, understand, engaging. I like the word engaging. Focus, lively, understandable. Okay. Demanding, interactive, engaging. The reason why I ask this question is I just want to check how many actually practice active learning in class, and so that I could adjust my content accordingly in terms of how much I should impart. So if there are many who are actually doing active learning, oh, there's one saying no fun, dry, informative. Okay, no problem at all. Okay. Okay. So based on this, based on the answer given here, it seems that everybody is actually using active learning in class, yeah? Okay. So we don't actually have to go too deep into active learning, the theory and concept, because I think everybody is practicing it. Not knowing that what you are practicing is actually called active learning, it's fine, as long as you do it. So I will be customizing my content towards whatever that you always do in your class, right? Okay, so I'll go to the next question. Okay, I'd like to know this. This is okay. So majority gives marks to students for actively participating in tutorial activities. Yeah. So meaning in that case, whatever things that I'll be sharing with you today could also be tools that you can use for assessment purposes. Because in our series of workshop, I'll be talking about online assessment in my last workshop, which is on assessment and examinations and tests and whatnot. Okay, so just to share with you, assessments can be divided into two, right? Summative and formative, but there's another way of how you can actually divide assessment. Assessment can be divided into assessment of learning, assessment for learning, and assessment as learning. The assessment that is popular in the discipline of law is actually assessment of learning. Assessment of learning means that you are assessing the knowledge of the students in terms of how much they know based on what they have learned from you in your class. So you assess their knowledge, the level of knowledge that they have gained from the class. So that is assessment of learning. Examples of assessment of learning would be your exams, your tests. Okay? And another, this is not very relevant for today's workshop. The one that I think most of you will find more relevant when you say that you give marks for your students to your students for actively participating is assessment as learning or assessment for learning. For learning means they would have to do the assessment in order to learn. For example, like I teach CV procedure, so I want to teach them how to draft writ of summons. I don't lecture them, I just throw a question at them, a problem, and based on that, they have to draft. And after they have drafted, I will correct and tell them what is wrong. So that is assessment that is done before they learn. So they learn through the process of doing the assessment itself. Okay. Another one that you could also find to be relevant for marks in tutorial is when you give marks for students who, as they learn, they are also doing the assessment. Like for example, I'm sure this is something common, right? In law, okay, anybody who participates by answering tutorial questions will get marks, something like that. So they are assessed by, at the same time they are learning the material. So usually assessment as learning marks, the portion is smaller in comparison to assessment of learning or for learning. All right. So some of the tools that I will be teaching today, most of the tools that I will be teaching today could also be used for the purpose of assessment. All right. Okay. So I will now go to the slide. Okay. Okay. So we go first to active learning. Okay, active learning in short, since I think everybody is practicing active learning based on the survey that we have done just now, we will not be going too deeply into this, okay? Active learning as opposed to passive learning is actually any learning activity where the students participate or interacts with the learning process. Passive learning is when, for example, you're standing in front of the class, you give a lecture, one way communication. They're just listening to you, they're just absorbing whatever that you are giving to them. This could also happen in tutorials, especially in the discipline of law, right? So that is passive learning. So active learning is when you engage them to do something meaningful in the learning process itself. They have to participate, they have to interact with the learning materials. So this is active learning. And based on what you have answered in the survey just now, it seems that 90% of you are using active learning, all right? Okay, so examples of active learning activities is the one that is the simplest, I think, and the one that I always share with my participants is think, pair, and share. Think, pair, and share is a 3 mini stages in one activity. It means that you give time for the students to think based on the material that you share with them, okay? And then you pair them together with the person next to them, maybe, or another person, any other student in the class, and then they would have to share. When they are paired, they will be doing some thinking together. And so first individual thinking, then they're paired to think together, and then they share whatever thoughts that they have. Okay, a jigsaw method is where, for example, I think this is quite popular among law instructors. Have you had the experience of assigning topics to students? Okay, for example, group A, you're supposed to do on the topic of negligence. Group B, you're supposed to do on the topic of nuisance. Group C, you're supposed to do on maybe trespass. This is taught, kan? So you divide the students or the group of students according to topics that you want them to work on, and they will come together during tutorials and they will share their findings. So it's like they're learning from each other. So each of the student or each of the group is like a jigsaw piece which will form a complete picture when they come together in the tutorial class. So we also have peer review, where students review and comment on materials written by their classmates. For example, I think this is also quite popular among law. So a law instructor, so basically one group or one student will present in front and the other will listen, and then you ask the others to actually review presentations made by that particular group. So this is called peer review. And then we have discussions as well. This is very, very common. Okay, you conduct discussions with your students, either you with them as a big group in one tutorial, or maybe you divide them into small groups to do discussions. Some would venture into role playing. For example, I think in subjects like moving or my own subjects, civil procedure, we do have to resort to this, to role play and ask the student to actually understand how these rules actually function in courts and whatnot. Yeah. Okay. You also have problem solving using real data. Okay. So meaning you give them real problems to work on. Okay. And there's another method called just-in-time teaching, where students read assigned material outside of class and then respond to short questions online, then participate in collaborative exercises the following class period. I use this very much in my civil procedure. So before class on Wednesday, for example, the week before that, after the class on the previous week's Wednesday, I will tell the students, okay, this is for next week, please read, and I'll be posting a quizzes questions online. I'll be giving you the link, answer those questions, and I will have collaborative exercises in the class next week on Wednesday. This is one example of active learning activities. Game-based learning is, I think the name is self-explanatory, right? So you use gamification tools, or you use game itself, a game that will help the students to reach their learning objectives. Okay, peer teaching, I've used this, okay, and it's quite effective actually. It comes from one method, okay, called pedagogy. Pedagogy means that it's peer learning, peer-based learning, whereby you encourage the students to teach. For example, in my class just 2 weeks ago, I used pedagogy, peer teaching. I assigned topic to 4 students whom I think suitable, okay, and they have to prepare teaching materials. They conducted the class on their own, but before they conducted the class, they send all their teaching materials to me for me to check, so that and anything that they don't understand, they will ask me first. then when they teach, it's actually the right thing. So these are examples of active learning activities. There are many others, but the point of our discussion for this slide is that you need to understand that active learning activities means you are engaging the students with the learning experience, the learning materials. Yeah. So instead of them just sitting at their chairs, and listening to you, so they're basically doing something meaningful. Yeah. So this is active learning. So I hope by now everybody is clear. So we go to the next part of our presentation for today, which is the learning approaches in law tutorials. Now, of course, I think everybody has their own learning approach to conducting their tutorials, but the ones that I have on screen now is the most popular ones. Yeah, it's the first one. I think is the most popular. That's why I put it as number one. It's collaborative learning. Maybe some of you are not aware that what you're doing in class is collaborative learning, but this, from my observation and what you have answered in the survey just now, this is actually one of the most popular approach usually used in law classes. Collaborative learning, in simple words, I will show you the definition after this. Okay. Another one is problem-based learning. This is also, I think, something common, but there is a difference between problem-based learning and problem-solving activity in collaborative learning. Problem-solving activity in collaborative learning means that, for example, your students come into class, you give them a problem on a piece of paper relating only to topics that you teach in that particular subject. For example, if you teach law of thoughts, so you give them problems, and the problem is only concentrating on that particular week's topic. For example, you're teaching negligence, so the tutorial problem for this week is only going to be on negligence. So that is problem-solving activity in collaborative learning. Problem-based learning has a different element. One of the most important element that distinguishes problem-based learning from problem-solving in collaborative learning is that in problem-based learning, you have external real life element. You take problems that resembles real problems, and real problems in real life, they don't actually focus only on one particular topic. It is interdisciplinary, it's intertopics, right? So that is problem-based learning. So for example, maybe you would tell your student, okay, for topic number 4 and topic number 7, there will be no lectures. The learning will be by problem-based learning in tutorials. So this is problem-based. Experiential is something that the students learn through the process of going through an experience. For example, my class, civil procedure, yeah, because it's a civil litigation course, so part of the course can be taught via lectures, the theories and concepts, perhaps about 20 to 30%, but 70% of the course has to be by experiential learning. They would have to do it themselves, even without being taught. And after they have learned it, they did mistakes. When they try to do it, they will be doing some mistakes, definitely. Okay, and from the mistakes, they will reflect. And from the reflection that they have done after committing the mistakes, they will be forming they will be forming their own opinion on what to do next time in that kind of situation. So this is experiential learning. It comes from a thinker called Kolb, K-O-L-B, Kolb. So there's a 4-tier process. So making mistakes in the experience is actually part of the crucial element in experiential learning. The fourth part is actually the fourth learning approach is gamification and game-based. Okay, this is something that I use quite frequently as well in my classes. It's actually comes from a learning theory called behaviorism. It means that the students are actually interacting with the materials. I mean, their behavior is very much influenced by external factors. I mean, the gaming tools and the gaming elements are actually influencing their behavior. So this is gamification and game-based learning. And the last one, I think, less popular in other disciplines, but I think quite popular in law, is case study or case analysis. In law, I think we call it case analysis, or sometimes we call it case review. But in the learning approaches, we call it case study. All right. So these are the 5 methods. Why do I actually spend time talking about this? It's because you need to understand which approach ataupun which approaches are the ones that you use usually in your class, because I'll be matching the tools according to the approach. So if you feel that I'm someone who usually will use collaborative learning, so the tools that will be useful for this are, okay, they will be sharing that, okay? So I'm someone who uses lots of case reading, case analysis. So there's tool that is suitable for that. There's no one tool where everything is there for you, no, because there's the tool maker or the designer of the tool will not know what style you want to choose for your class. So it will adopt something that is suitable for the bigger crowd of the market. Then you would have to choose which one that is more suitable for your class, okay? All right, so as I was explaining just now, collaborative is when you use groups to enhance learning through working together, all right? Try not to annotate anything on the screen because I could see there are few annotation here. Okay, I've cleared the annotation. So don't, sometimes when you accidentally touch your mouse, there will be annotation on the screen. Yeah. So okay, so collaborative learning means actually very simple. You use groups to enhance learning. Two types of groups. Either you use the group as a whole, meaning let's say you have 30 students in class, right? So you use that particular group to learn from each other. That is collaborative learning. Or another form of collaborative learning, which is more common, is you break them into smaller groups. Okay, and they work in their groups. They learn collaboratively from each other in that small group. So collaborative learning means that I learn from you, you learn from me, he learns from her, she learns from him. So it's like you learn from each other, but that's why, so that it doesn't become disorganized, you need to really structure the learning experience. So that's collaborative learning. I think most of us are using this in class because in law, you need to discuss. You need to analyze things together. So collaborative learning is very common. So problem-based learning I've explained, experiential learning I've explained just now, gamification and game-based. I would like to stress on one point when you talk about gamification and game-based learning. People seem to be confused in terms of gamification and game-based learning. That it's actually two different things. Yeah? Gamification is simpler than game-based learning. Game-based learning is like you come into class and you tell your students, okay, today for tutorials, we are going to play a game. That's it. And by playing this game, you will understand the topic. So meaning the learning objective is achieved through playing the game. Gamification, there's no game. It's just you are using gamification tools. What are the normal gamification tools that we have when we play games? We have marks, right? Sometimes if you answer correctly, you'll get marks. That is gamification already. So in class, if let's say in the middle of your lecture, you can even insert this in the middle of your lecture, not tutorials. You teach. Okay, and you say, okay, I've been talking for 15 minutes. Now I would like to ask 3 questions. Anybody who can answer will get 1 free point. So that is gamification. You are using the component or the element of marks in your class. Or there's another gaming element that is quite common as well. It's, for example, if you don't answer, okay, if you answer wrongly, you get punishment, you get homework, for example, or penalty for time, something like that. This is gaming elements. What are the gaming elements that you could think about? For example, moving up levels. When we play video games, right? When we complete all the tasks in level 1, we move to level 2. So maybe we tell the students, okay, if you finish this one, you can move further. Okay, so that's like moving up level in comparison to all your friends. So this is gamification. There's no game there, but you're just using the component of game. Okay, and case studies, I think I've explained this just now, and I think this is very common. What you do with your students is you want them to read and analyze the case, and I think the popular model would be read the case, pluck out the material facts, issues, what was the decision by the court, and what was the ratio decidendi, or what was the reason given by the court for this. So this is very common. Okay, so now we'll go to the tools. Yeah. Okay, so we go to collaborative learning tools first. I'll be introducing 5 things here. If we have time, we'll go to Sutori. Number 4 is if we have time. Okay. Other than that, we'll try to cover as much as possible. Okay, I will go to number 5 first because now we are in Zoom breakout rooms, right? Sorry, we are in Zoom now. So we'll try to use breakout room functions because this is something that you can use for collaborative learning. If you want them to learn in separate groups, smaller groups, kan macam sometimes we do in class kan, let's say you have 30 students, okay, I'm going to divide you into 5 groups, each group should have 6 students, and now, okay, let's count, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and then sit together with your groups now, okay, this is a tutorial question, so this is a problem, discuss in your group. So can we do that online synchronously? Yeah, I've explained the difference between synchronous and asynchronous last week, right? So we're talking now about synchronous because we are now doing synchronous workshop. Might as well we just try. So we're going to try Zoom breakout room. I'm going to divide every participants into groups, okay? And I'm going to use a random function. The Zoom breakout rooms can be used either in random mode, or it can also be used in a manual mode. Manual mode means that you assign the students into groups. Random modes means that the system, Zoom itself, will randomize all participants into their groups. Okay, so we're going to try this. A very small homework lah for each group. Just go into your groups and discuss maybe for 1 or 2 minutes what do you feel about the Zoom breakout rooms, and then we can share in this main meeting room again. All right. Okay, are you ready? Has anyone used this before? Can somebody say something if you have used this before? Tak ada?
No.
No, okay. All right, so there are 71 participants in the group. And Cik Nazri and Laili, when I use random function, both of you will be slotted into groups as well. What you need to do is just to leave the group. You can leave the group and come back to the main meeting room. Okay? All right. Ready ya? Senyumlah sikit, alam masamnya semua. Dr. Mazlina takut I tengok you. Okay, all right. Okay, so jom. I buka room ya. Okay, I dah buka room. So what you need to do now is you can just go into the room. Join the room. Cik Nazri keluar balik nanti dah masuk dengan Laili. Dah keluar balik dah?
Dah keluar dah.
Okay, alright. So Cik Nazri jaga kat sini sebab selalunya bila orang yang terkeluar, dia akan kena dimasukkan balik tapi hanya host dia yang boleh buat. Laili Laili naik suite, Laili je tahu. Cik Nazri tak ada ni. Laili mantap baba IT ni. Okay, alright. So apa ni, kalau dia orang terkeluar dan masuk balik, hanya saya je yang boleh move kan. Jadi sudah tunggu sekejap. Anybody not in group? Can you please click join the group and go into your own group and don't come back to the main meeting room until we have finished the session, yeah? Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
How's everyone? Is everything okay here? Konon macam tu lah kalau dengan student kan. Kalau dengan student macam tu lah kononnya kita masuk tanya any problem. Okay, can anybody see the ask for help button tak at the bottom of your screen now? Sebab bila you ada kan?
Ask for help.
Ada, yes.
Ada.
Kat mana? Kat more dia?
More.
Yes.
Ada more.
So maknanya if let's say the students need you to come and help them ke apa, they will just ask for help, nanti akan keluar dekat saya punya control bar. Okay. So saya go to another room ya.
Alright.
Hello everyone, how are you?
Fine.
Okay, konon-konon je cikgu dah siap dah semua homework. Macam tu kan. Okay, so you can use this function to check the group one by one. If you look at the bottom of the screen, dekat more tu ada ask for help. So if they need your help, they can just press the ask for help button.
Mizan, are you actually appearing in every group ke, or in the everybody can see you, or we all je yang nampak you?
Hanya yang saya masuk je, grup yang saya masuk je boleh nampak.
Oh, so you
It's
masuk.
like you in class
Okay.
checking each group.
Betul.
Okay, alright.
Fine.
Hi. How do you
Hi.
actually do this?
Konon-kononnya dah siap kerja ke? Macam tu kan. Amboi Kak Jam.
Kenapa?
Okay, if you need any help, there's ask for help button at the bottom of the screen dekat more tu.
Alright, yeah, I
Okay.
can see that. Yes.
Okay, so kalau apa-apa tanya kat situ je. Assalamualaikum.
Hai.
Hi.
Salam.
So you can use this
Hai,
function
Syarul.
to join to actually check on your students who are doing the group work lah. You can move from group to group. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yes, you press for help. Anything?
Yeah, because you haven't finished talking and you left. So we asked you to come back. So what do
Okay.
we do now?
Just wait because
Sorry.
Yeah.
How do we actually, get into this breakout session? Zoom breakout group ni.
You want to get in as a student ke atau macam
As a lecturer kan kata kita nak create this.
I will show you after this. Kejap. Alright.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay. I think we should ask Mizan. Tanya Mizan.
Kenapa?
There is a question from Mai Zaitun.
Mizan, kalau Zoom is 40 minutes only kan for the class. Okay. So from your experience, kalau we exceed that 40 minutes, how do we resume back the class? Can we use the same password?
That's a good question. Dr. Mazatun, boleh tak I jawab dalam grup besar nanti supaya semua orang akan
Boleh. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I used Zoom last time before the stay home order. I used it for 1 hour. I had a classroom from tutorials from 2 to 6 o'clock, and then each tutorial group came within 1 hour, and then we finished all our discussion. I used the same code or the same number for all groups. So I didn't find any problem with using the Zoom for the whole hour.
Okay, I have to close the rooms now because there are actually 12 groups, so I think everybody else is waiting what's going on now, okay? We'll discuss further in the main room, yeah? Okay.
Okay.
Semua dah balik ke? Daripada grup masing-masing?
No, dah balik dah. Ada limit ya?
Yeah. Rasa pelik tadi, terasing.
Dr. Mizan.
Yes.
Kita ke yang set the time frame tu? The host ke?
You mean the time frame for when we close and open the record room? Yes, we do. When I close the room just now, do you see notification that the room will be closed in how many minutes ke apa? Ada tak?
Oh yes. Okay.
60 seconds.
Yes. You imagine yourself teaching in tutorials and sama lah like you're telling the students, okay, you have 5 more minutes before we end the class. Okay, macam tu. Okay, now please submit your work. Something like that. Sama lah tu kan.
But it's only through Zoom, Dr. Sharmizan. Cannot be in other platforms.
There are 2 web conferencing tools that have this function. It's Webex and Zoom. Google Meet doesn't have it. Microsoft Teams doesn't have it as well. Okay. Yes. Question.
Just a question. I haven't tried like using channels in Microsoft Teams, but it doesn't serve the same function as breaking rooms lah. Channels too.
No. Channels means like this. For example, macam I use channels in my Microsoft Teams for administration of the class. For example, my whole class is in the main team, but I have channel for my class reps with me, just 3 of us. So when I call for meeting in that channel, only those 3 people will be notified to come. Then I have channels for technical group in my class because I appointed 5 students who are good in technical things to be my class reps for technical things. So that is one channel. So when we call meeting or do activity in that channel, it doesn't work like this. Meaning now what we're doing is synchronously we have 2 layers of meeting. One is separate breakout rooms and then we also have the main meeting room. So participants can actually move from the breakout room that they have been assigned to the main meeting room, and from the main meeting room back to the breakout room. So what I did with my students sometimes is discuss in your group and then please send your rep to really come back to the main meeting room and get something. So I gamify it a bit. So that's how you can actually use this. So I did not manage to go into each of the breakout rooms just now, but some groups I managed to go again. So basically you can actually visit each of the breakout rooms to check on the students doing their work. And in each breakout room, the students have the button which gives them the function of asking for help. I think Aisha just now called me by pressing the asking for help button. So once the student press ask for help button, there'll be a pop-up right in front of your screen in the middle saying that this group is asking for your help, and there's a button for you to go directly there immediately. So just press that thing, you'll be brought directly into that particular breakout room for the purpose of assisting that group lah. So
Dr. Mizan,
yes.
So it means that you as host cannot monitor the whole groups at one go, right?
No, you mean like I appear in all the groups, right? No. But I can broadcast. There's a function. Actually, before COVID-19 crisis, there's another function which I think they are disabling it now for temporary measure. It's called the broadcast function, meaning you can broadcast to all the groups. Okay. All right. Before I show you how to do this in Zoom, there was one question asked by Dr. Maizatun just now in the room to me, which I think I want to answer in the main room so that everybody can share. Her question was a very good question. She asked me, Zoom only allocates 40 minutes for free account, right? So how do you actually go about tackling this problem if you want to use Zoom and breakout rooms? Okay, number one, there's one very good news. Zoom has just made an announcement that they are giving it for free now, all throughout the COVID-19 crisis period. So it's unlimited for the time being. So they don't have that 40 minutes limit at the moment. So you can use it in class, all right? And number two, if suddenly they impose back the 40 minutes too, then you have no options. You have to stop your class at 40 minutes and then just tell the students to go for recess lah kot. They also want to go to the toilet and whatnot kan. So kalau macam it's not puasa time, maybe you can just ask them to take a sip of drink apa kan, and then come back after 5 minutes macam tu, and then you just give them a new link. You have to give them a new link lah. I think Dr. Tahi just now asked me the question. Not asked me a question. He shared an experience where he used Zoom with just one invitation link all throughout, even exceeding 40 minutes. Yes, at the moment you can do that because Zoom is actually allowing you to do that at the moment. Okay, actually a lot of online learning platform is giving this free unlimited version for now. So make use of it lah. Okay, so apart from Zoom, another tool that has the same function like this is WebEx. The reason why only 2 of these tools have this is very simple because WebEx engineer was actually the one that created Zoom. So Zoom is actually a more enhanced version of WebEx. Huh? Okay, are there any other questions that you would like to ask? If there are no questions, I will show you how you can actually do this.
A moment, Dr. Mizan.
Yeah.
How many students, how many person can enter into Zoom? Is it still 100?
Yes, that one is still just 100.
Okay, thank you.
But I am not sure if they mean the unlimited thingy itu also refers to the number of students because I am using the paid version. So whatever happens pun memang I memang guna yang paid lah, tapi I'm not sure whether the free version sekarang yang unlimited dicakap tu also means that you can have more than 100 students. Because I have not tried more than 100 students after they make the announcement yet. Okay, let me just.
Dr. Mizan.
Yes.
How do you divide the group just now? How the process goes?
I'm about to screen share with you how it happens, how you can do it. Sorry. But one limitation though, because I'm currently using Zoom, there are certain functions that I cannot show you because we are in Zoom. So I can show you how to prepare the breakout rooms, but showing you how to open the rooms during the time when the session happens too, I tak dapat nak tunjuk. I cannot show you because we are in Zoom now. I cannot apa ni web conference. Okay, sekejap ya. Let me just open the thing first so that will be easy. Okay, now I will screen share ya. Just bear with me for a moment. Okay, when you go to your Zoom account, okay, you will see this. Can you see my screen? Cik Nazri nampak tak saya punya screen? Cik Nazri? Nampak eh? Okay, so when you go to your Zoom, sekejap I gerakkan the black box ni supaya tak block you. Okay, so when you go to your Zoom, there are 3 options on top ni kan. I think you are familiar with this. Join a meeting, host a meeting. So say for example you want to use breakout room. So what you need to do is you schedule a meeting. Okay, once you have scheduled a meeting, you will fill up the meeting forms and whatnot lah. Tapi I show you the meetings yang that I've already planned and scheduled. Okay, for example, for this particular class, I want to make sure that there will be breakout rooms that I can use. Kan? So what I do is just edit this meeting. You click on the meeting, it will bring you here. Once again, just for the sake of everyone. Okay. So let's say this is the one that I want to use breakout rooms. For this class, I think I want to do collaborative learning with my students, break them into small groups. So I click on the class or the meeting, it will bring you to this page now. But you scroll down a bit further down, then you will see this button over here, edit this meeting. All right. So you just edit this meeting. Okay. Only this meeting. Because I'm doing recurring, so they ask that question lah. Okay, so okay, you can choose this breakout room pre-assign. Okay, make sure if you want to pre-assign breakout rooms, you can do it before the meeting. Okay, let me just check. Yeah, it's supposed to be in settings. Go to left side, this button over here. Check settings. Okay, when you go to setting, you scroll down and find breakout rooms. Then make sure it's on lah. Breakout room, okay, you make sure it's switched on so that it will be available when you start the meeting. If you don't switch this on, when you start the meeting or start the class, the breakout room button will not appear at the bottom of your screen for you to start doing the collaborative learning via breakout room. Okay, so you can tick this if this is suitable ataupun if this is relevant for your class. Allow host to assign participant to breakout rooms when scheduling. When you tick this button, it means that before the meeting start, you can actually assign. But the downside of doing this, because I don't usually do this, because the downside of doing this is sometimes students will be absent from class kan. Say for example, you put them in small groups, like only 3 students per group. 2 students absent, only 1 student will be left with no team members to it. Then you have to sort him pula into a different group, and that is going to be a bit more technical. Okay, so I usually assign them randomly in class lah. Okay, so once you have done this, the breakout room button will appear at the bottom of your screen. And after this, I cannot show you because it's in my taskbar currently now, live, real time. Okay, so once you are in the room like this, what you need to do is, in the breakout room too, there's a button at the bottom now. You will see the breakout room button at the bottom, but yours might be different from me because host version is different from participants lah. So once you click the breakout room button, you will see list of all students in your class, and you can assign them into the breakout rooms. Very easy. You go to let me help you imagine. Okay, so when you click the breakout room button, you will see a pop-up in the middle of your screen. Then a list of your students will come out. When you move your cursor to each name, you will see 2 options will come out. Assign to or something else, I don't remember. The assign to is important. Okay, so if let's say for example you want to assign manually, then you have to assign one by one which group. Okay, otherwise just open rooms random. It will give you an option how many rooms you want to create, and it will tell you if you create, macam tadi I choose 12 rooms. 12 rooms 5 to 6 per room. Okay, so that's how you do it. Any questions that you want to ask? I'm sorry I can't show you after you have scheduled your meeting because it's in the taskbar now.
Is it possible if you could take photo with your phone and then show it to us here? Not possible.
No, not possible. Okay, but what I can do is I can take photo later and I can show. I can share in the Telegram group. Okay. Anything else about breakout rooms before I move on to something else? No? Okay. So all the best lah to try breakout rooms. Okay. So now we go back to the apa ni slide. Okay. So I will screen share the slide again. Okay. So we've covered Zoom breakout rooms. Okay. Another one that I would like to try with you is Mentimeter, but this time because Mentimeter there are many functions now for Mentimeter. Okay, so you can actually use Mentimeter for the purpose of activity in tutorials, meaning you will ask questions to them, okay, or you can invite them to share their ideas and their views on things. So you can do that synchronously, real time, through Mentimeter. You may not need to use web conferencing via Zoom or Google Meet to do this. You can also use Mentimeter plus WhatsApp. So you have a WhatsApp group with your students. You can just ask them, okay, let's open to Mentimeter now, and you can just instruct them through WhatsApp and they will look at your Mentimeter at the same time. So that can be done. Right, so we'll try one, okay. Let me just choose one activity. Yeah, just hang on for a second. Because you have installed Mentimeter in your smartphones, right? Okay, we'll try this one. Oh, wait, hang on for a second. Hang on ya. Internet connection slow sikit, kejap. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you one example. Okay, this is something, one of the things I did with my class. Okay, can you see this? Cik Nazri nampak tak screen saya?
Nampak.
Okay, so can you just enter the class code? Just try. Yes, Puan Siti Marina, I think you raised your hand. I can see it from here. Any questions? Can you unmute your microphone and ask?
Sorry, tersilap.
Okay, no problem. Okay, can you just try to insert any response? It doesn't matter because this is actually something that they do after watching a video, but you don't actually have to do this. You don't actually have to watch the video just to test on the function. So this is a function that I think we have used in our survey just now, right? So we can use this for the purpose of inviting them to share their thoughts. Remember, active learning, it means that rather than you telling them or teaching them or lecturing them, you basically invite them to share their opinion. Okay. Okay, so as more students insert their response to your question, okay, and the screen will start to move. So you can actually press, let me just move the taskbar a bit so you can see this very clearly, okay. You can actually see that at the bottom here, we have press enter to pause scroll. So if you want to pause the scrolling, just press enter, then it will pause. Then you can pinpoint one answer, for example, to show to everyone. Okay, this is an example of an answer that is good, for example, you can say that. Okay, so this is one function that you can use for interactive class in your tutorials. Another one that I think we can also see is
but the response is unanimous, is it? Do we know who responds like this, who responds like that?
no, you will not know who gives the response. That's one side of Mentimeter, because our session today is for class activity, right? So if you just want to have class activity, you can have this. But if, let's say, for example, you want to have class activity mixed with assessment, meaning there is marks. Remember I asked you the question in your survey tadi kan? If you want to have it in the form of assessment, there's another tool that you can use, which I'll be covering in the last workshop. Kalau if you just want to have activity like one thing good about Mentimeter ni, in one sense lah, my students' feedback, they said that we love Mentimeter. When Dr. use Mentimeter, we like it very much because it makes us anonymous. So we can freely give our opinion without sounding stupid, something like that. So you don't know who actually gives the opinion lah, basically. I even had experience where students pun I asked them to answer. So when I ask in class, face to face, give your opinion, only one or two will just raise their hand. Usually the good ones lah. Tapi not the good ones. I mean the active ones. Okay, even the quiet ones can be good, right? So, but when I open Mentimeter, suddenly many responses will come. So that is one pro lah for Mentimeter. But the cons is if you want to grade them or give them marks for their response, you will not know who. Unless if you ask them to put their names lah, meaning put your answer and I want you to put your name. Then make it compulsory. Everybody has to contribute and please put your name. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Hang on for a second. Let me show you another function. Okay, another function in Mentimeter that we can use is what we call the word cloud. Have you used this before? Anybody has used this before? Tak? Anybody? Tak ada eh? Okay, let me just screen share again. Okay, how to use Mentimeter? How to create benda-benda macam ni in Mentimeter. So I will screen share. So what you need to do is, you go to Mentimeter, senang je, go to Google and just type Mentimeter. Mentimeter. Okay, Mentimeter, enter. Okay, then you click the first one in the list, Mentimeter Interactive Presentation Software. Just click here. So you'll be brought to this page over here. Mine is already logged in because I already logged in just now, right? So immediately I can see my presentations by clicking this button lah, your presentations. So click your presentation.
Is it free?
Yes,
sign up.
It's free, and the good news is for Mentimeter, it can cover up to 400 students. And if it's more than 400, you can still use it, but it will slow down. It will lag a bit. Okay, but up until 400 you can use, but with limited functions lah. If you go for paid account, it has more functions that you can use. But I am not using the paid account. Mine is the free version. So far, okay. All right. As you can see on my screen, these are all my presentations. Let's say we want to create a new one. So there's a blue button over here, new presentation. Just click this one, new presentation. It will basically ask you to give a name to your presentation. So let's say I'm just going to put simulation. Okay, so I will click create presentation. It will bring you to your presentation. The layout or the interface is very similar to PowerPoint. Kan? You have the slides over here on your left side, and you have your types of slides that you can use here. Okay, say for example, I'm going to show you one function that is good for class activity. It's called word cloud. So let's choose this one. Okay, so this is word cloud. So what is your question? Say my question is, hang on for a second. Teaching is, okay, just use one English word. Okay, let's say this is the question. And how many entries, how many answers can a participant insert? I usually let them answer more than once. So here I put 3, or you can reduce it, or you can increase it, up to you. This is good for brainstorming purposes. Maybe before you start your tutorial, okay, before we start, I want to ask you first, what is negligence, for example? What is a contract? So just give me an answer. So they will just submit. So do you let participants submit multiple times? I usually allow, right? And that's it. Customization button is usually available. Most of the functions is available only for paid account. So I don't use that. So let's try this. Can everybody try? Just enter the class code and try and put one English word that describe what teaching is. You will see the word cloud appearing. Okay, so you can see cloud and carrying is appearing now on the screen.
We can see multiple choice, multiple boxes.
Multiple boxes, yes.
Yeah.
On your phone, you will see the multiple boxes. On the teacher screen, which is this one over here, they will see the collective answers given by everyone. So that's why I say if you want to do it by web conferencing, show this in your, what do you call that? Show this in your Zoom, Zoom and WebEx, and at the same time, they can answer from their smartphone as well. Okay, if you see the function here is, the big words are words that are popular, meaning they are commonly selected by the students. So meaning now most of the participants in this workshop are saying that teaching is fun, and less popular than fun is sharing knowledge or educating. The small words are less popular answer. So you can actually talk to them while they are doing this. Okay, meaning that from this what you have answered, most of you think that teaching is fun. So why? You can discuss. It's a brainstorming tools actually. Cik Nazri, ada apa-apa soalan tak dekat dalam ruang chat yang saya perlu jawab ke? Ada ke? Sementara tu.
It's fun lah. This function is fun.
Ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya tak? Okay, let me just. Yeah.
Dr. Mizan?
Yes, Prof.
I just wondering, the code, is it automatic given or we have to retrieve it?
Automatic,
for the students. Yeah.
Automatically given. Oh, what do you mean give to the student? It is automatically provided by Mentimeter, but you have to give the code to your students lah for them to enter the class.
Right, that's it. That's what I was wondering, because the code is there, so it's already given automatically by the system. Yeah.
Yes, if you are using Mentimeter in web conferencing like what I'm doing now, you don't have to give to the students. The students can see on the screen the code, kan? But if let's say, for example, you are doing it with WhatsApp, for example, or you're doing it with podcast, for example, so you do have to tell them the class code is 677687, like
all
that.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so this is one function that we can use for Mentimeter. Okay, we move to another function. Yeah, let me just show you. Okay. Another function that we can use is for the purpose of tutorial activity is this one. We'll try another one. Okay, if you want to add another one, add slide over here. Okay, so what you can do is, the one that we used just now when you entered your subjective open-ended answers too, that one is this one over here, open-ended. See, it's coming out. Okay, this is how it looks like. And there are basically 3 types if you want to use this. It could be a speech bubble. If it's a speech bubble, it will appear like this. It will not be moving, okay? But if you want it to move like the one that I used just now, it's flowing grid. So it's moving, okay? Or maybe you're the type that wants to analyze the answer given by the student one by one. Then you use one by one. You can see the arrow up and down button for you to discuss each of the answer. This one might be suitable if you want to do group work. So maybe each group one answer. It's not very suitable now during COVID because everybody is at home, right? But if let's say, for example, you want them to do it later, you can use Mentimeter even when you are in face-to-face class next year. So I usually use this in class pun. Maksudnya macam it's in front of the class lecture hall on the screen. At the same time, students sit together in one group and they can share one device. Okay. So this is another function. Another function that we can use is the survey function. There's no right or wrong here. This is not a quiz. This is just basically to get their views. You can ask one question. Do you think what? You can just give one. Let's say, for example, there's a case. You can say, do you think in this case, the judge has made the right decision? Then you can put A and B. And the type of answers that they give, I think you're familiar with this because I've used this before with you just now. This is the dot layout. Or if you want it, the donut layout. Also, I've used this before in your survey. You can use this one. There's a pie layout, there's a bars layout. So you can choose which one you want. Which one is more suitable for your activity. All right?
Dr. Sharul,
yes.
I saw the words show the correct answers just now, meaning that here we can actually show the correct answer.
Which one?
You scroll down just now, the function are there. Show correct answers, extras.
Yes, yes.
So is it possible to use this?
Can. If let's say, for example, you do not want to use this to ask for views, you want them ask a question to them which has the right answer, you can. But the difference between this and another function I'm going to show you after this one only lets you ask a question that has the right answer. But if you want them to answer and then you give them some points like games, that one, there's another function in Mentimeter for that. If this one is like, okay, you ask question, there are several answers and you just want to test them. Okay, which one actually you think is right? So then the answer. Actually the right answer is this, but that's all. No marks, no competing. That one can. We can use this one. So if you want that, just click show the correct answer. Okay, so meaning once they have answered the question, then you can reveal the right answer to them. Also can. Okay. This is good if you couple it together with this one. Show results in percentage. You know why? Because let's say you have taught them. Let's say the class is 2 hours lah katakan. So after the first 15 minutes, because scientifically it is proven that Gen Z, okay, attention span is not more than 12 seconds. Doesn't mean that they cannot concentrate after 12 seconds. It means that the first 12 seconds is the time when they will determine whether they want to concentrate further or they will suddenly zone out. Okay, so if let's say you have been talking for 15 minutes and it seems that they have lost focus. So maybe you want to say, okay, after 15 minutes, I've lectured you. Let's try and see whether you have been paying attention. So you do this. You do this and you will see, okay, let's say the right answer is option 3. Okay, option 3 is the right answer. And they will insert and you can see actually what is the percentage of students answering option 3. This could indicate the number of students or the percentage of students paying attention when you were talking, because they give you the right answer. Apart from the fact that there's a possibility that maybe tembak pun you juga kan. So this is something that you can use lah. This is if you want to let the participant choose multiple questions. Okay. All right. These are the 3 functions that you can use for collaborative learning. This is collaborative learning in big groups tau. It means that you don't divide them into small groups like what we did in Zoom breakout rooms just now. this is collaborative learning in big groups, meaning together in one tutorial, we learn from each other. Because one thing that you notice here is everybody can see everybody's answer. So that's why they are learning from each other. Just now when I did the survey with you, right, I said, how did you conduct your tutorials? You can see answers given by other lecturers. So you are actually also learning by looking at what they are contributing towards the discussion. Okay, so this could also be used for discussion purposes. Okay, any other questions about this before I move on to the next two? Any questions? Cik Nazri ada soalan tak? Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Yes. Kak Yana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's say tutorial tu we have 50 students.
Uh-huh.
So and at 9 o'clock, let's say kita follow schedule biasa lah.
Mm-hmm.
So all of them must be present, 15, in order to conduct Mentimeter.
To be present where? Are you doing web conferencing as well or what?
Yeah, sebab Mentimeter ni kita guna web conferencing kan?
Can, or sometimes I use it in just WhatsApp juga.
So meaning, but all of them must be present at the tutorial time lah maksudnya.
Yes. Maknanya present in the sense that they have to be together with us at the same time slot lah.
Tapi kalau macam they have problem with internet connection,
then maybe you can use WhatsApp like what I did with my students, ataupun you can use podcast live. Maksudnya you can tell the students, okay, I'm going to do the class via WhatsApp, so with Mentimeter. So make sure you open your laptop, just go to Mentimeter over there, and then in your phone, ataupun you can say in your laptop, you open the WhatsApp web. Okay, in your phone, you just open Mentimeter. So you can contribute whatever things that I ask in Mentimeter in your smartphone, and then I will screenshot and share it in WhatsApp, the results. Then we discuss macam tu. So that is also something that you can do. Or there's another option, if your students have low internet connection, unstable internet connection, use podcast, the one that I taught last week too. But remember last week I taught you on asynchronous, right? So you use offline to record your lectures. Now don't use offline, use live. So when you use live, your students can listen to your voice while they're looking at the Mentimeter, as though they are in front of you, but they just can't see you lah, because podcast live means just audio, right? So you will tell them, okay everyone, so based on what you have answered, it seems that most of you are answering this. They can't see the screen, but they can imagine, because you are telling them live, real time, what's going on in the teacher's screen for Mentimeter. Does that answer the question, Dr. Durena?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Dr.
Yes.
Mizan,
Yeah.
can you explain a bit on import function and share function?
Oh, yes, that's very interesting. I love using import function because usually what I do with my student is that I will put my PowerPoint slides in my Mentimeter. So meaning when you put your PowerPoint slides in Mentimeter, say for example, you have 50 slides. So you import everything into your Mentimeter. So once you put everything, it will appear here down on the left side. All your 50 slides will appear here. So you can actually insert activity in your lecture. For example, 1, 2, 3, then you insert something else. Let me show you one example. Okay. Okay. This is my own class. Yeah. Let me choose something that is suitable.
Dr. Mizan, is the import function, you have to pay for it? Because when I click import, it brings me to the plan.
That's actually something that another participant asked me in last week's workshop, but not for law lah. I think the new free account does not include this. Mine is free account, but I registered this 3 years ago. So for those of us who registered early, I think they still give it. But for those of you who is just going to register, maybe this is not available. I'm not sure. You don't see it, Aisha?
No, I mean on the label import, dia ada star kat situ, and if we click it, it will bring us to the plan punya tu. So you know, I think this function is paid lah kot, kena bayar lah kot, kena subscribe lah kot.
Okay, so maybe berbayar lah. Tapi kalau if you want to try berbayar, this is how it will look like. So basically, when you press import from mine, you can see kan, you can actually import a file from your computer. Does the pop-up appear tak? Nampak ke? Cik Nazrin nampak tak keluar pop-up? Ke tak nampak?
Ya, nampak.
So when kalau bila kita klik import, dia akan keluar macam ni. So basically, you just click here to upload whatever files that you want to upload lah from your computer, and then all your slides will appear here. Okay, so say for example, okay, this is my lecture. So say for example, after teaching 5 slides, I want to do one activity. So I insert the activity in between my slides. Okay, so thank you very much Aisyah, because meaning the new version does not include the import function for the for new accounts. Yeah. Okay. Any other question?
Can we use the same set of quizzes to few times? I mean, to other classes, to other sections.
Can. Okay. The way how to do it is, once you have you mean to other classes, do you want to make any changes to the quiz question or exactly the same?
For example, exactly the same.
If exactly the same, is very easy. You basically just, when you press present, it will bring you here. Okay. So hang on for a second, yeah. Okay. Kejap ya. I think you have some problem seeing the screen code because okay. I cannot show you here because the screen sharing function doesn't allow me to show what's appearing on my screen now. So what's going on is, once you, let me just explain, yeah. Okay, once you press this present button, it will go into that interface tadi tu kan, where it's in the presentation mode. Once you have finished the presentation, you will see that there is a setting button with a setting icon. So once you click that setting icon, there's an option where you can erase all results. So you can erase all the results from your first class, and then you just play it again in your second class. Exactly the same question is like that. But if you want to make some changes, you can just click home. Okay, let's say you want to use this one. So what you can do is, you just copy, duplicate the presentation. So when you click duplicate, same one will appear. You just rename a new one. Maybe you want the same 5 questions that you have inside this one, but you want to add 7 questions, for example, for another tutorial group. Okay, or you want to change some of the questions to make it more random so that they don't copy from each other before you start the class. So you can just duplicate. Okay. Any other questions?
Mizan tadi another function tadi I tanya pasal share dekat atas tu Dr. Mizan.
Okay. Hang on for a second. Okay, so share button, let's look together. Let's see together. Okay. Let's try pressing share. What happens? Okay. So you will see this. So you can just copy this link, okay, and give it to the students. So instead of, because you can use the class code if you are using the apps. So meaning, if let's say you install the apps from Play Store, you need only to just insert the class code, right? Another way of doing it is you just give the link to the student. So they will be opening it from a browser. So let's say, for example, you copy this link. Okay, let me just show you. Then, sorry. See, you will go straight to that particular questions that you ask in that slide. So this is another way of how you can actually give access to your student to the presentation. Okay, anything else?
So it's not necessary for the student to download the Mentimeter app. You can just give them the link and they can answer online lah. Not necessary for them to download in the phone.
No, not necessary. But on the practical side of conducting class, I noticed that when students use browser, it's slower compared to when they use the apps. Apps is quicker. So, or another way, you can just give them the QR code. If you are using face-to-face class next year, if COVID is no more here and we are going back to face-to-face class, katakanlah, you want to make it more fun, you can just give QR code to them. Just open it in front of your lecture hall, portray the QR code, ask them to use the QR code reader. Don't worry, all their phones have QR code reader. Okay, so they just scan from their seat, you know, from far away, they can just scan the QR code and your presentation will come up. Okay, any other questions on Mentimeter before I move on to the next tool?
Yeah, Assalamualaikum.
Warahmatullahi.
I saw this system is used for pre-recorded lectures, where you can watch or listen for 2 minutes, and then after that there will be questions. How we can do that?
You can actually do that not in Mentimeter, but you can do that in another tool which has similar function. Mentimeter does not have the function where you can put in videos. An example of this tool is the one that we discussed last week. Remember the Nearpod? Nearpod is using the same concept whereby you control the slide and the students can see from their phone, but Nearpod has a function where you can upload videos or you can share videos, but Mentimeter does not have that. But there are other tools which has the same, it resembles Mentimeter in that way, but it has more enhanced function where you can add video as well. Okay, any other questions? No, no more questions, is it? Okay, if there are no more questions.
Mizan.
Yes, yeah.
I just want to know in terms of privacy. I mean, whatever that we put here, we imported in this system. Will it be published, or everybody can have access to our PowerPoints or whatever documents we put in?
No, unless if they have your, this is a real-time thing. It's not asynchronous, it's synchronous. So once you start to press this button, present, or only then they will be able to access the question, but still you control which slide is coming now. So you still control, but not everyone can have access, only those with access code. And these access codes will expire in 2 days, meaning for this presentation, this is the access code. But after 2 days, a different access code will be given if you use this again.
Okay, so it won't be sharing. I mean, our privacy is guaranteed here.
Yes, because usually real-time or synchronous method like this, usually it's only available during that time. Yeah. Asynchronous is a bit worrying because you put it there for the students to access, and they have longer time to access it. So maybe other people can also have access if they have the link or they have the code, right? Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay.
Last question.
Okay.
The code is given after we prepare the presentation or just before we give it to students? I mean, we start the presentation.
Once you press present button, then the code will appear on top.
Okay. So it's okay if we prepare the question today and then we use it next week. Okay, lah kan?
Yes, very much so.
Alright.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So if there are no further questions, I'll move on to the next. The next slide. The next thing, it's called Kialo. Okay, Kialo is good because I think in law, we like to ask students to debate, right? Sometimes you, not debate as in like debate tournament kind of debate tu, no lah, but it's sort of a platform for students to actually give their opinions, and sometimes their opinion might not be the same, so they will just, criticize or critically analyze the other person's opinion and views. So for that, since in class we can do it face to face, but now since we are doing it from home and everybody is the students are attending the class from home, so we can try to emulate the same effect by using Kialo. It doesn't give you the same debating face to face effect lah, tapi but boleh lah, can. Alright, so let's try Kialo. Okay, the first one on top, Kialo, explore popular debates, discussions, and critical blah, 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 okay? So you just press here, okay? Okay, then you'll be brought here. You'll be brought to a page actually when you're supposed to sign up lah. But since I've already signed up, so I'm immediately brought to my Kialos lah. But the ones that I'm showing you is not the actual one that I use in class. This one is just for the purpose of workshop. So an example is this one over here. This was just for fun, which I did with my students. Just to share in workshops. Okay, so what you do is, what you need is to firstly create teams. Okay, so once you create a team, like this one, the teams that I created for my students. So I divided them into two groups, girls and boys. Okay, for just to debate for fun lah in class. Okay, so if you want to use this in class, maybe you want to create new team. Okay, and you want to put, let's say, plaintiff counsels. Let's say you want to do this. Okay. Okay. For the handle, you're not supposed to have any space. So plaintiff counsel. Okay. So just create. Say for example, you create that. Okay. This is one, and you want to create, because if you want to have debate, of course you have to have more than one team, right? So go back to teams just now. Okay, one is there already, plaintiff. Let's create another one. Defendant counsel. All right. So create. Okay. So you have one plaintiff, one defendant. Say for example, you have a class of 30 students. You can tell the students, okay, 15 of you will be the plaintiff's counsel, 15 of you will be the defendant's counsel. We're going to debate a case. Okay, let's say the case of Kalakabolic smoke ball. Let's just discuss that critically. I want 15 of you to be the plaintiff's counsel representing Mrs. Kala, and another 15 of you will be representing the Kabolic smoke ball company, right? So we're going to just debate on that. Okay, so you have created the teams. So what you need to do is go on top of the screen. You can see the button create discussion. So you press create discussion. If you are very concerned about your class to be private and all that, press this one over here. Okay, if you don't mind other people to also see the debates going on between your students, you press public. Okay, I'm usually someone who will let everything go public because I don't mind sharing, but for debate, usually I will just start private because you won't believe the kind of arguments that students will come up with, and you don't want it to be an issue later on if other people, share that, screenshot whatever things that they see on your discussion, right? So I would advise to go private just for this tool. So private, and you can choose either single thesis or multiple thesis. Single thesis is when you say it like this. For example, the earth is round. So one group will be giving the pros, another team will be giving the cons. Okay, but if you want multiple theses, you can divide the debate into subheadings like this. So the question is, what shape does the earth have? So one is the earth is round, another one the earth is a disc, the earth is cubical. So you can actually divide it like this, and the debate can happen in subheadings like that as well. Okay, but for the purpose of our simulation today, we'll just go with single thesis. So next. Okay, now provide the discussion title. So online learning helps lecturers to teach. Okay, so you can put some background information if you want. If let's say, for example, you want them to read something or watch something in YouTube, or maybe listen to something first, you can put the link here, a YouTube link, a website link, whatever, so they can watch first before they start the debate. Choose the language. For mine, because I'm in UKM, so I choose Bahasa Melayu. But if yours, maybe you want to go with English. All right. So after you've done that, just create next. If you want to add any image, you can, or you don't have to. Okay, just add something, can make it more fun. So just complete. Okay, now you can invite your students to join. Okay, by clicking here, invite. Okay. So you will have to publish your discussion, but do not worry about this because it's not going to be public because you have chosen the private setting. So it will be published, but it will be only accessible to those who have the access link. All right. So I usually would like to use this because it makes my life easier. Just enable. So if I use this, meaning anybody who has the link will be able to enter. So I'll just click this link over here and just give it to students. So I enable. If you want to enable this one also, you can. Okay. This one over here. Okay. All right. Now, how do I put the themes that I've created into this discussion? So pick a theme. So it will bring you back to the list of themes that you have created. For example, just now Plain Thieves Council. So you want this theme to be able to just view or to write or to edit, to be admin or to be the owner like you. So usually what I do is with my students, I have Plaintiffs Council, Defendants Council, and I have the judges. So the judges will usually have viewer only. Okay, will only have viewer function. But for the councils, I will use writer. Okay, and then this one I will not use. Okay, this means that sometimes there are people who students in your class who are already a Kialo user. Okay, you can just invite them. But I don't like this function because you have to invite them one by one. Like this one, I'll just give them the invitation link and they will just get into the discussion themselves. Okay, so this is what you do with your discussion. Okay, so play around with this one as well. I won't be going too deeply into this because we don't have the time, but this basically allows you to control the discussion. Meaning, let's say, for example, you have 15 students going against 15 students. Do you want them to be able to see each other's arguments and whatnot? So you can. Or you just want the discussion, the admin only to see, or only the users themselves just to see. So you can actually play around with this. How it looks like after you have created this, okay? It looks like this. Okay. It looks like this. It looks like this. So you can see the pros and cons. This is something that I just did for fun with them. I said dalam konteks UK 4063, pelajar perempuan adalah lebih efisien dan lebih cekap dari lelaki. I will translate for international participants. I asked a very fun and simple question, okay, just to provoke their mind a bit. I just say, in the context of my subject, UK 4063, the female students are more efficient and more efficient than the male students. So I divide male students into one group and female students into one group. So they can just put in their arguments. So this is how it looks like. And they can actually, you can see here that they can actually go to each of the comments and either agree or disagree with the comments. Okay, do you have any question up until this point for Kialo?
Is it anonymous, the comments here?
No, you can actually see who actually make the comment. You can see the name. So it's this one, Dr. Suzy, you can use this for assessment as learning as well. So meaning you will know who actually gives that comment and you can give marks for that student.
How do we give marks then?
Let's come again, sorry.
How do we give marks?
You cannot give marks here. The system doesn't have that function, but you can give marks in your own mark sheet lah. But you can see who actually gives which answer. So if you see on the right side, the names of the students with their answer. So you can see here, see? And you can also see, if you click the left side, okay, I'm so sorry for the noise from my room, yeah? Okay, if you look at the left side, you can click this one, info, stats, and topology. You will see which debate is winning according to the color. So you can see actually, green is winning, meaning the girls are winning. The red are the answers given by the boys. Okay, and you can see who among the students who is the most active. So you can see here, these students actually give 12 arguments, okay, and contributes by looking at his friend's answer and giving opinions and whatnot, and vote as well. So he gave 103 votes compared to these students, only 0 votes, give 11 arguments, contributed in 18 ways. Okay, so
So
this
what
is
does winning means here?
winning means that most the winning, okay, winning in a sense that if you want to look at it from the perspective of, because for me, for my class, usually when I conduct debate, I would choose a topic that is that doesn't have right or wrong. So it's just a matter of engaging them and making them actively participating in the discussion. So I would say the girls win because they contributed more. Actually, in my class, it was quite funny lah, because the boys will say, lah doctor, it was not fair lah, because there are only how many boys in the class. And I say, then you have to work harder lah. Give more than one submissions, more than one argument, so that you can actually beat the girls. So winning in a sense that they participated actively. So in my class, during the time when I did this, I said, okay, so it means that in my class, the girls are more active. They give more answers. They participated more. So in that sense, you win. Macam tu. The winning is not based on who is right and who is wrong. If you want to do it that way, also can. Then you have to scrutinize each of the answer as well.
Dr. Sharul,
Yeah.
do you think that the students' knowledge on Kialo is also necessary in order for them to know what to expect, what we expect from them, apart from having clear rubrics on what we expect? I think, do you think that they need to have some background knowledge on Kialo, on the mode
You
that we
mean
use?
whether the students have to be taught or made familiarized
Yeah.
with the apps that we want to use?
Yeah,
Okay.
in order to be more to actively engage, then they know that, oh, they have to like competing, be more active and keep contributing. Do you think that that is also necessary?
It depends. Okay, this is a very good question actually, because based on my experience, there are certain types of apps that you have to, there are certain types of apps that you don't have to. Okay, the ones that we're discussing today for tutorials activities, I would say 99% you don't have to teach them. Based on my experience, okay, students are actually Gen Z and Gen Y. We are actually, for me, I'm Gen X. I think there are baby boomers as well inside this class, right? So for us, it's a little bit, it's a steep learning curve. For them, it's like the one that we're looking at now, the Kialo thing. I didn't even have to actually tell them how it works. Some apps I would have to tell them, okay, what you have to do is this one. No, I just tell them, okay, this is the link. Before anything, everybody's already in. So they are very quick, and these are law students. I've had the experience because in UCAM we have the options of teaching non-law students as well for Chitra. So I had the experience of teaching Chitra students, meaning they are coming from other faculties. They are even quicker. So without anything, they know how to use it. But having said that, there are certain apps that you have to teach them. For example, I use one tool for exam. It's called exam.net. So this tool is a little bit technical. So the first time I tried with them, because it was part of my research project, so I tried with them, okay, just try use it without me telling you how to use it. And then after that, another group, I teach them first and then they will use it. I could see that for technical, a bit technical, then some of them will get lost without being made familiar with the apps. So it depends on the apps lah. This one, the one that we have here, like Mentimeter, Kialo, Padlet, all these things, no problem usually. You have one or two that might be a bit lost, but 99.9% usually they will be able to catch up lah. But if you are concerned, maybe what you can do is, what I do with my class, I appointed a technical committee among the students themselves. So I have 129 students. So they are divided into permanent group all throughout the semester. So I have 22 groups. So I have 8 technical committee. So each technical committee is taking care of 3 or 4 groups to make sure that nobody is left out if they are confused with the apps. So that is something that you could also try. Okay, any other questions on Kialo before I move on to other things? other functions you would have to explore yourself. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Mizan nak tanya,
Yeah.
apa nama ni, for this response, is it necessary to be like, if they want to express in a more longer version, is it possible, or just a short version?
Long version is
It looks
possible.
like possible.
Because I use this for my hearings, meaning now that we are not able to have a face-to-face class, so I basically ask them to put in their submissions here, and then it's sort of like going against each other. This is not for marks, just for practice purposes. So they did write very long answers, and as far as I have used it so far, okay. Okay, anything else? No, yeah? Okay, if there are no more questions, I think we have covered 3, Mentimeter, Kialo, and Zoom breakout rooms for collaborative learning tools. I will not be going into Sutori and Padlet because we don't have time. At least you have some options that you can play around with to prepare for your class. We'll go, if we have more time, I'll come back to this slide and we'll explore a bit more for collaborative learning tools, yeah? So as you can see, Kialo can be asynchronous as well as synchronous lah. I've used it in both modes. For example, if it's synchronous, I just tell them in WhatsApp, okay, I will open the debate from 2 to 4 p.m. You must answer between that time only. I've also used it in asynchronous mode, meaning I just leave it on for the whole week. So you can always come in and do whatever, okay? The other 2 asynchronous tool that you can use is Sutori and Padlet actually. But I will show that to you, okay, as we go along, because we'll be using Padlet again in other tutorial approach. Okay, so problem-based learning tools. For those of us who love to use problem-based learning, so what we can do is, the tool that we can use is, I think I'll go to Jamboard first because it's the easiest. So when we give them problem, what we want them to do is to study the problem, right? Critically analyze the problem, discuss with their friends whatsoever. Okay, so when we want them to do that, there has to be a tool for them to use so that they can analyze things in a more structured manner. So we can use Google Jamboard for that. Just go to your Google email, Gmail, okay, or your Google account. Okay, if you go to your Google account, basically, if you look at the top of the screen on the right side, you will see this 9 button here, correct? Do you remember this? Can? Basically, you just click here, then you can have your Google document, your Google Drive, everything semua. You just find Google Jamboard. There. This is the Jamboard here. So you just click this Jamboard and you'll be brought to the page that I'm looking at now. Okay, Jamboard here. So the good thing about Jamboard is you can use this also for collaborative learning, but I'm talking about it in the context of problem-based learning now. Okay, so let's say I want to hang on for a second, yeah, because you won't be able to see the screen at the bottom. Can you see the plus button at the bottom of my screen? Cik Nazri nampak tak tanda tambah oren dekat bawah?
Yes.
Okay, so you basically just click this one over here, new jam. Kat jam ni bukan kat jam Majdah tau, ni Jamboard. Okay, so you go here. All right, and you name the gem. Okay, say for example, the case of, let's say, what's the hot issue now? Yeah. Okay. Remember that Syafiq, Ustaz Syafiq's case, and Amin Idris, Syafiq and Amin Idris. If you, let's say, you want to use that issue as something that you can study with your students, so you can just use this one. Okay, and all right. So, let's say I want students to study this problem together with me. So let's say I want to add an image to make it more lively. There are 4 options. You can upload your own image, or you can find image in Google Image, or you can upload image from your Google Drive, or you can choose photos inside here. So I'll go for Google Image. Let's try if anything comes up. Because for law, we always study issues, kan? So say for example, we'll choose This one. Okay, let's say this one looks very exciting. So we'll go for this one. Choose until the tick button appears. Then you press the button select here. Then it will appear. Okay. You can resize. Okay, you can turn it. Okay. You want to turn it like this, or you want to resize it to smaller size, also can. All right. Okay, so here. Okay, now the functions here. Okay, the menu here. This one, if you want to write anything. Okay, this one, see if you want to erase what you have written. Okay, this one is if you want to move anything, you want to choose, you select this one. Okay, okay, so this one is what we call sticky note. Okay, so for example, I pose a question here. Is there cause of action in this case? Okay, so save. So the sticky note will appear like your normal sticky notes too. Okay. Maybe you can just add another one, maybe a different color. What possible defenses do the defendant have? Has. Okay. Have or have. Okay. Okay. So save. Okay, maybe you want to put it down here. Okay. So now I will invite everyone. This is a simulation session. I will change. Let me just repeat that again, so that everyone can follow. Okay. Look at the top of the screen. Okay. Click share button. Okay. Change the setting accordingly. For example, for me, usually I will choose this one, on, University Kebangsaan Malaysia students only, or people from UKM only, all right? Or sometimes I use this one, anyone with the link, and I will give the link to my students, other people won't have the link lah. So make sure you change this one, view or edit, okay? All right, so can edit. So you click save, take this link over here, copy, all right? And you can paste it in your whatever lah. Okay, let's say I paste it in our Telegram group. Sorry, C2 kan? Okay, now can everyone go to the Telegram group, our Telegram group for this workshop today, and try to see? You can see on top now. Students are coming in. So try to answer the question. Is there cause of action in this case? What possible defenses do the defendants have? Okay, try to play around with the sticky notes.
How to answer? What to type? Where to type?
Use the sticky note on the left side here. Click the sticky note and enter your answer. Okay. You see somebody is moving my picture. See, somebody is moving. The thing about Jamboard is they can touch everything on the Jamboard. Okay. So just give it a try first. Try to put in some answer. So you can see as though if this is a class, so you can see the students are actually doing the activities online.
It's like playing, okay, play.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
Because education 4.0 or 21st century education is talking about you socializing the education, right? So meaning it's not so formal. It gives them the chance to actually also play around with it. But you can see now it's all anonymous now because I'm inviting you with link. So with my student, when I use the UKM sharing function tadi tu, I could see who is actually doing what because they will be logging in from their UKM Google account, yeah?
But you cannot see who's giving the answers, right?
You can, yeah, but not with the invite link function, because now I'm using the invite link function. As you can see, somebody has already deleted my photo. See or not? Somebody is now contenging on my wall.
Right.
Okay, but if you use the other function, let me just show you, like this one, right? Okay, change this one. Anyone who has the link can edit, can? Okay, you change it to here, for example. I think yours will show your university's name over here lah. So if you change it here, then not everyone can come in, not anonymously. Only those who are logged into their UKM account can come. So you can just, if you use this one, you will see which student is actually doing what. Okay? Any question on Jamboard? Jamboard is very simple. But the not so nice thing about Jamboard is the fact that they can control your Jamboard lah. See now, nothing is here because somebody has deleted other people's answer. So you have to, if you use the other function just now, UKM too, usually your students will be more disciplined lah because they know that you know who is actually doing what. Okay, how do you know? You can just create lah. You can just click on the kejap eh. Can you see? Wait, come for a second. Okay, can you see one Cik Nazri nampak satu ke nampak dua depan screen sekarang?
It pop up your access has expired for mine.
Huh? Yes, because just now I changed to UKM kan? Because I changed to UKM tu yang your access to expired tu. So now let's say I'm changing it back to anyone who has the link can view, then dia boleh balik lah. Okay, but the thing is, the one I wanted to show you just now is, can you now see one or two frame? One, right?
One frame.
Okay, if you want to add a frame, you can actually add the frame. Okay, so go to the next one over here. For example, maybe you want to discuss course of action over here. Then you want to discuss possible differences over here. Then you want to discuss possible remedies over here. So you can do it in many pages like that. At the end of it, say you want to, let's say student is giving answers here, whatnot. You want to use pointer. Look at the left side. There's a pointer over here, laser. Just choose this one so you can say, okay, this is a good answer. This is very naughty, for example. Okay, this one. So it doesn't stay on the Jamboard, but it emphasizes certain points. Okay. You want to change the background also can. Ayo, what is so boring, for example. You want to use this one, can? Changes the background. You want to, what do you call that? You want to magnify certain parts. Let's say you put a photo or you put a diagram. You want to just use this one. Okay? Okay, any question on Jamboard? No?
Syarul?
Okay. Yes.
This Jamboard ni similar to Flipgrid ya? Ada similarity ke?
I do not think there is similarity in my opinion lah, because Flipgrid is more towards you contributing in the. I will show Flipgrid juga after this. Flipgrid is more towards you sharing in terms of oral. Maksudnya if you want to share something by making videos and saying something over there. Tapi Jamboard ni is more towards simpler things like this. Text based, picture based, like that. But we'll be looking into Flipgrid juga after this. Okay, any other questions?
Can we save whatever things that we discuss on Jamboard?
Can you what? Sorry?
Save.
Can. Let me, okay, I don't remember where that button is, but you can actually do that. Kat mana ya? Because I've not been using Jamboard for quite some time now. There is a function for you to do that. I don't remember lah. I think kejap ya. There you can download as PDF. But there's another one. I remember I can actually share it. Okay, so download as PDF, then it becomes a PDF and you can just distribute to your student lah if they want to refer. Okay. All right. Any other questions on Jamboard? No? Okay. So if there are no questions, we'll go back to the slide. So this is Jamboard. Another one is Coggle. Has anyone here used Coggle before? Okay, so Coggle is good in a sense that it is more controlled. compared to Jamboard. Jamboard is like everybody can play around. Coggle is, you can still play around, but it's in a more organized manner. So let's say you go to Coggle, okay. You just go to the first one on the list, okay. So I'm already logged in. So you can create your own account lah. If I'm not mistaken, free account only 3. I've not created more than 3 in one account. Let me try and see what happens. See, it asks you to basically upgrade. You know what I did with my my students? Boleh pula ni? Kejap. Boleh kot. Dia boleh. You can try lah. I think 3 or 5 if I'm not mistaken. I don't actually quite remember. So the thing you can do with this one to make it into problem based, you give a problem to them, right? Problem based learning is when you use real world problems. It's interdisciplinary. So you give to the students and you want them to brainstorm to solve the problem. So maybe you can just write this down. Shafiq and Amin. Shafiq versus Amin's problem, right? Okay, so what you can do is, maybe you can add something here. The course of action. The defenses, for example. Okay, then you want to add something else here. Maybe you want to say the mode of beginning, for example. Okay, sorry, I'm sharing things yang I ajar lah kan. Next one, maybe you want to ask about jurisdiction, which court, for example, like that lah. Okay, so you want your students to contribute in this. So what you can do is you go up here, you can see the plus button, right? So invite people to join this Coggle. So you click plus button, so you enter their email. So it's a little bit taxing in this way. Coggle is like this. So you have to enter his or her email here, okay? And then once that person is added into the Coggle, then he or she can continue. See, plus button over here, then can continue. So if you have students, you put in, I have put in 100 students at one time, still okay. So meaning they can put, but I don't think it's advisable for you to add so many students in one Coggle because it will become so messy. Okay, they will, okay, somebody asked me just now, right, about whether you should make students be familiar with the app before you use it. This is one of the apps that, it's not that they can't use it without being made familiar, but they will have some trouble controlling the cacing-cacing ni, the ranting-ranting ni, the branches. Because you can actually, do this, and some naughty people will actually, do this and do that. So it will be moving. So don't have too many students. What I did in my class is basically this. I just create more Coggles. Okay, for example, I create, let's say 5 Coggles. And each Coggle, I will insert maybe 15 students. And they will be working in that group to actually add to these things over here. Okay, so you can download the Coggle in this format, PDF, image, or plain text. Okay, plain text, it will come out like a bullet form notes. Okay, so you can download it, or you can share the Coggle as well. All right, by Twitter, Facebook, or you can embed in your website if you have your own website or blog. Okay, all right. This is how you can see which student does what. You can also use this for assessment purposes lah, because you are adding them using email, kan? So they will be coming into the Coggle with their real name lah. You add the email that has the real name. Don't add yang punya glamour email tu. Right, so you just click here. You can actually see what happens in that Coggle. Macam ni tak ada apa-apa lah, because nobody does anything here, kan? Okay. And this is where you could leave messages. What I did with my student is that I tak larat lah nak add every single person in the Coggle. So what I did is I create 5 Coggles, for example, and then I appoint one group leader for each Coggle, and then they will be added here, and that person will be the one who will add up the rest of the members to go into the Coggle. And they will usually work by using this message board here. Hey, do this. Hey, do that. You can actually see. Let me show you if I have examples. Let's see this one. Okay. So, oh no, this is just me. There's another one. Let me just see. This is the one. Oh no, I don't have it here. It's in another account. Basically, you can just see who says what. Sometimes we leave each other's messages. I've added this thing here, so can you please add this thing apa semua, and you can say that in your messages. Okay. Do you have anything to ask? So another way is what I'm showing you now is your students actually do the Kaggle themselves, and they just basically invite you. So meaning tadi the first method that I showed you using Kaggle is you create the Kaggle kan, but that is limited to the number of Kaggles that you are allowed in your free account. So another way of doing it, if you want them to contribute in small groups, to work in groups, so what you can do is you can just ask them to create their own free account, and then they can create their own Kaggle, and they basically just share with you using the same function that I showed you just now. They will have their own Kaggle, for example, and then they will just add you here, and the Kaggle that they shared with you will appear here, shared with you. So these are my students' Kaggle, basically. So let me show you one. Let's see this one over here. Topic of course. Okay, so you can see the students are all here in this particular group. So they work together. Okay. And if you click here, or they have not been using the message box. So you can actually see the work that they have done. Let's try another one. Okay. All right. So are there any questions that you want to ask?
Dr. Sharumizan?
Yes, yes.
Can the student, or can we print out or save this document as a PDF?
Can. You basically, oh, you mean the one shared with you, is it? The one that shared with you, or the one that you
This
create?
mind map. This mind map.
I understand, but are you talking about the mind map that you create and you share with students, or the ones that the students create and share with you? Which one?
The one that we created.
Let me show you the difference in terms of the layout. Okay, this is the one that I created. So what you can see is I have this button over here to download. It gives me this options of downloading in any of this format. Okay, but if I were to go to the mind maps that are shared with me, so let us see the difference. Do we still have the download button? Yes, we do. So meaning yes lah, the answer to the question. Because I've never tried that before. It's a good question. I've never actually downloaded mind maps that are used by, that are shared by students with me. So the answer is yes. Okay, any other questions that you want to ask? See, you have the button
We
over
can
there.
use this thing to prepare our own notes, isn't it? I mean, personal use rather than sharing with students.
Can, no problem. Sure. Any other questions?
Yeah. Can we make correction, make comments, and ask the student to complete their work or do the revision?
Yeah, you can do that in the message box. For example, okay, let's go to the one that they are sharing, that they have shared with me, right? Okay, so this is their work. So let's say you go through the work and you feel that, oh, it's not completed. So you basically just use the message box and type here, please finish your work. I cannot type it here because nanti my student will panic pula tiba-tiba I send them a message. Because remember that this is linked to their email. So if whatever things I change here, they will get notification in their email. So then they will think that I'm asking questions to them pula. So you basically just ask them to complete it or make the corrections that they should make. Just type it in the message box.
And can we make any editing?
Come again, sorry? What was it? Sorry, come again.
Can we edit their diagrams?
Can we what?
Edit.
Edit their diagrams. Yes, if they share it with you, okay. I will not be able to. Okay, let me just take another one. Okay, this one. Okay, okay, this is shared with me. Okay, let's say I want to edit the other. Okay, I can just let me just there. Can. Once you are added into the Kaggle, you can actually do that. Okay, anybody else has any questions before I move on to the next tool? No? Okay, so I will go to the next tool. Okay, Kaggle, Jamboard. Okay, there's another, these three are all in the classtools.net. I love classtools.net, it's so fun. Okay, but I think Kak Jam is going to like this. Okay, this tool over here is basically for you to help them or to encourage them to critically analyze the problem that you provide them. But in terms of creating the problem, sometimes, I mean, the most popular and the most common way of doing this among law instructors is basically to give them on a piece of paper lah. Basically, on a piece of paper, you just you type all the details, okay, and then you just give them a piece of paper. Okay, this is the problem. Okay, and you can try and discuss in your group. But another way of doing it is to make it more lively and more fun. You can just use this fake book and fake Twitter, fake news, fake headline generator, and SMS generator. You can use here in classtools.net. Okay, classtools.net is a website, okay, which has lots of teaching tools that you can use, but it's more simple. Okay. For example, the one that I was talking about is this one, fake book. So it allows you to create a fake book account that resembles the real Facebook. So you can create by adding things here. But the name is not Facebook lah, it's fake book. So for example, if let's say you said, if let's say the case just now is about one person is suing another person for defamation. So let's say it's not a real character, for example. You want to use fake characters, but based on a real problem. Okay, so you can just create fake book of that person and you can put as, you can add postings as though it is posted on Facebook. That this could enliven the problem for the students. So you can use this one, okay, and you can also use another one is fake Twitter at the bottom. Okay, here, this one, Twitter. It gives you the same function as fake book just now. It creates a fake Facebook account and fake Twitter account, but they changed the name to Twister, not Twitter. And you can also create fake news news. It's called fake news generator. So for example, you want to create pembelajaran. Okay, I use English and learning during COVID. Okay, so you can actually change the photo here, change the description. You can choose your own photo that you want to add into this one. So you can also do that, okay? There are photos provided as well, okay? See, you can change the photos. If you think that this is not so Malaysian to give them a film, you can upload your own photo. All right. So this one is something that you can use to make the problems more lively for the students to brainstorm, to critically analyze and whatnot. Another one that you can create is instead of giving your problems on a piece of paper, right? So you do it in this way. So it's more fun. It's more interactive. Okay, so you can also use SMS generator. Let me just show you. Where is the SMS generator? This one. So SMS generator is as though it's a chat between two persons. So let's say it's a contract, it's a breach of contract. and you want to tell a story of how A enters into contract with B and B breaches the contract. So you want to do it in a more fun way. So you do it in a SMS generator. So you just add this one. Hey, when are you going to pay my money, for example? So you click OK. All right. So, and then the other person answer, I will not pay, for example. Okay, so it comes like that. Yeah. So it becomes something that delivers the problem to the students, but in a more interactive, more lively way. All right. So these are the things that you can use in classtools.net to implement your problem-based learning. Any questions? No? Okay, if there are no questions, I will move on to the next one. Okay, gamification and game-based learning. So some of you would like to use gamification and game-based learning. So gamification and game-based learning, there are few tools that you can use. Okay, the one that I'm going to show you is a randomizer. Randomizer can only be used synchronously. All right. Usually game-based learning is synchronous lah, because it's a game, right? So usually it will be done together at the same time lah, because it's a game. There are some tools which allows you to use gamification and game-based learning asynchronously as well. Okay, but the ones that I'm showing you is the one that you can use synchronously lah. Okay, just now we go back to the classtool.net, right? I know that in class, the popular method in tutorial for law class is for you to actually pinpoint the students. Okay, for question number 1, okay, Ali, can you please answer the question? Okay, then that person answer the question. Okay, apa ni? Mina, can you answer the question? Siti, can you answer the question? So basically, that's the most common way of conducting tutorials lah. So maybe what you can do is to make it more gamified. Okay, you can use the random name picker. Okay, so you can just put the names of the students in the spin. Okay, and you can just spin it. Okay. Okay. So Adam has to answer the question. Okay, so Adam will answer blah, 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 blah. Okay, then remove his name. So next question, then you spin again. You can either do it that way, or you can also put topics. You can just put topics here, and then you want to decide which student will have to answer which topic. So you can also use randomizer for that purpose. Okay, let me just move this taskbar first. Okay.
But we need to key in the name one by one, isn't it?
Yes, true. For example, I'm about to show you. If you look at the bottom of the screen, okay, where my cursor is, there's a button for edit and save here. So you click edit. So you have the list here. So what you can do is, you don't have to type lah one by one. You just go to your list of students, cut and paste. You just cut and paste the list over here, and then you just save the list. Once you press this list away, once you press save, it will basically ask you to give a password. So you give a password, because if later on you want to edit, you come back here and you will use the button at the bottom here, edit, and it will ask you for the password. Once you enter the right password, it will bring you to your own randomizer. Okay, so any question that you want to ask about randomizer? No? Okay. This is a very simple gaming tools lah, gamification tool. Let's see another one. Okay, there are also various mini game maker in classtools.net. For example, let me just show you. Okay. Okay, if you want to make your own crossword puzzle during before COVID, when I still had my face-to-face class, I used to use this one over here, the QR treasure hunt generator. But now, since we're not having face-to-face class, maybe this is not going to be suitable lah. Okay, but another one is, you can also use this countdown timer over here for gamification and game-based learning. because one of the elements of gamification is competing with each other, racing against time, for example. So you want to use this timer, so you can. So just press the button over here, okay, and then it will, get started. Okay, you just arrange. For example, you want them to do something, okay, within 1 minute, for example. So just change this to 1 minute. You can change the minutes and the seconds. And if you want to make it more fun, you can just, let's try 30 seconds. Okay. 30 seconds. In 30 seconds, you're supposed to give me an answer. In 30 seconds, you're supposed to find this on Google. In 30 seconds, you're supposed to find a video on this topic. So they can also do that. In 30 seconds, you can do you're supposed to do this. So to make it more fun, you can click tune. Okay. And okay, 30 seconds starting from now. So you do that. So it has the music. Boleh dengar ke musiknya? Cik Nazri?
Tak dengar. Tak dengar pun.
Tak dengar, nampak ni je. Okay, so basically maksudnya yang ni ada music sebenarnya keluar tau. Kalau you nak different time pun boleh. Maksudnya this is only for group A, for example, but group B has a different time. So you just add another timer. It starts a different time for group B, for example, and then another one you can just add. And if you want to make it more fun, you don't want to use any of the music over here. These are too old and too boring. So maybe you want to use a music that is more relevant or more popular among the young students kan. So you click here, okay. So you can just search for YouTube. Katakanlah I choose siapa yang terkenal sekarang? Kai Bahari contoh. Kai. So you just choose and then just take that song and then you can just use it in the timer. Okay. Do you have any questions up until this point for everything in classtools.net? Actually, there are many other mini game maker in classtools.net where you can insert your teaching content in the game. For example, you can even make your own Pac-Man game, or you can make your own Fling the Teacher game. Arcade game generator pun you can insert your materials from your subject into this game maker and it will create a game for you. But it's a simple one lah, not so canggih like PlayStation 4 ke apa kan, tapi it's like something just for fun. Okay, so we are going to try gaming function in Mentimeter because Mentimeter just now I've shown you the survey function, the brainstorming function. So now I'm going to show you the gaming function. So we go back to Mentimeter. Okay. Okay. Let's play a game together. Okay. Okay, let's do this one. I'm sorry, it's in Bahasa Malaysia. Okay, but the more important thing is to look at the function. Okay, let's try this. Okay, can you try enter the gaming code? Okay, so as you can see, one student has entered, two students have entered. So every time a student enters into the game, they will be given an icon or emoji. Okay, remember I told you that some of my students love Mentimeter because it keeps them anonymous, so they are not afraid to answer wrongly or anything. That's why they are given the emoji. So we don't know who they are unless if they put their real names. If they put their real name, then we can see the names after this when we play the game. So this is something similar to Kahoot. I'm not sure whether you have used Kahoot before, but Kahoot is more professional in a way that the layout, the colors, everything is more professional. But Mentimeter is more towards fun, cute, things like that. Okay, anybody else coming in? We have 22 so far, 23. Of course, with your students, you have to make it, you know, you have to use other gamification tool lah to make it more fun, to make it more, to encourage them to join. For example, you can say, okay, if anybody wins this, you're going to get presents from me, contoh, right? Or sometimes you can just use things like, okay, for example, I have assignments. Anybody who wins this will get one extra day to submit their assignment, something like that. So just to encourage them to join the game. Okay, so I think Puan Siti Marina has raised her hand. Anything, Puan Siti? For Marina, any question? Okay. Anybody else coming in, or can I just start? I think I'll just start, yeah, just to show the function, right? Puan Marina is raising her hand again. Anything, Puan Marina? Cik Nazri, ada apa-apa soalan tak dalam ruang chat untuk saya nak jawab?
Tak ada.
Ada, ya? Okay. Okay, 30 students. Okay, sekarang anybody else coming in? Ada tak? Nak saya tunggu ke? Atau saya boleh teruskan? I just proceed, ya?
I cannot get the question, tak boleh masuk. Mentimeter ni tak boleh masuk, just get ready to play, macam tu je.
Betul. Memang macam tu sebab I belum startkan lagi gamenya.
I see. I thought it's
sebab dia synchronous tau. Macam there's another tool which I'm going to show in the last workshop, asynchronous games. Asynchronous games tu you boleh actually macam let them play according to their own pace. But this one is synchronous. You play together at the same time macam tu. As long as I have not pressed this start quiz button, everybody will just be waiting. Okay, I press now. Okay, start quiz. Okay, try to answer the question. I'm sorry, it's in BM. For international participants, you may just choose anything. Okay, just to look at the function. So yang mana di antara berikut hanya dipakai oleh this one. So masa, you can see the time is at the bottom. I'll move the taskbar. The black box is my taskbar actually. Okay, so time is almost up. Okay, so when time is up, okay, you can see the number of students answering which question. So the correct answer is Jubah. So 10 students have answered correctly. So the others have answered wrongly lah. Okay. Okay, next question. Okay, so you can see the leaderboard. So this is the leaderboard. Oh, the highest is Dur. I think that one is Kak Doriana kot. I think Kak Jam is a teddy bear. Alright, okay. So after that, you move on to the next question. Okay. Hmm. 15 seconds. So you can see number of students answering the question at the bottom on the right. 5 seconds. Okay. Yes, correct. Most of you answered correctly lah, 16 students. So you can also use this for Socratic teaching, you see, because instead of teaching them, you ask the question first. So you ask the question maybe when at this point of time when they have answered, then you can see who is wrong and who is right. Then you can teach here. Okay, what do you think? Why do you think it's Talilehi? And then you explain before you move on to the next question. So it can be inserted in your teaching process. It becomes a question first, teaching comes later. All right. Okay, so move on to the next one. We look at leaderboard. So the leaderboard will move compared to Kahoot. Kahoot doesn't move, the leaderboard. So this one, it moves and it is more interactive, the leaderboard. Okay, so you can see that apa ni, Madam Duriana is still on top. Okay, if it's her lah, Dur ni. Okay, okay. So let's look at the next question. There are only 5 questions. So we can just finish everything so that you can see in the end how it looks like. "15 seconds. Yes, correct. Hijau muda. Okay, let's look at the leaderboard. Okay, wah, Kak Jam terus naik semula ke tangga ke atas. Okay, so it also shows you the student which has the fastest answer. So this one is correct, and the correctness of the answer and the speed. This one is the fastest lah. Alright, okay. So let's look at the next question. Five seconds. Yes, Ya Arif. Okay, oh ramai juga yang jawab Ya Arif ni. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I guess the question is a bit open kan. So apa ni, tengok leaderboard. So now you can see apa ni, Gem is coming up, Mars is the first now. So Dur has fallen to 4th place. Alright, so last question I think. "13 seconds. Okay, so then if you want to teach, you teach at this point before you look at the leaderboard. Okay, so look at the leaderboard now. Okay, so that's the end. So the winner is Mars. So who is Mars actually? Okay, so that's how you gamify your class using Mentimeter. So when you gamify your class using Mentimeter, don't just play the games with the student. So meaning you insert the learning in between the questions or maybe at the end of the questions. Yeah, any questions?
Which function of Mentimeter just now to play this game?
Yes. Coming to that, Dr. Suzy is always very keen on how to do it. Okay. Kejap. Alamak, I kena stop sharing dulu. Okay, sebentar. Alright, kejap . Bear with me for a second. Okay, so I will show you again. Let me screen share how to do this in class. Okay, remember this page just now? Once you have created an account, you'll be brought to your presentations. Okay, so just click button here, new presentation. Again, just the same way how you created the word cloud tadi apa semua. Okay, new presentation. Then let's try quiz simulation. Okay, so create the presentation. Okay, it will bring you to the quiz that you want to create. Free account only allows you to create up to 5 questions per quiz. So if you want to have more questions, you can create more quizzes. And each quiz, 5 questions, 5 questions. Okay. For me, so far, it's sufficient for me, just 5 questions. Because if you make it too long pun, it's not going to be very effective juga. So 5 questions per quiz is good. Because it's just to stimulate their interest, okay? So you look at the type of slides that you can choose. Don't go with this one over here. Go to the quiz competition function. You have this one and this one. I don't actually like to use this one. If you want to explore, you can explore on your own because it's a bit uncertain. So I use this one, multiple choice. So select answer. Okay, then you can ask your question. Sorry, you can put in your questions. Let's say, what is negligence? Okay, then you can put option 1, blah 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 blah. Option 2, whatever lah. Okay, you want to apa ni? Blah 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 blah. Okay, so let's say you want to add more options. You can click add. Then just add lah. If you want to delete an option, just delete by pressing the cross button, add or delete. Okay, remove. Then you can choose how long will the students have time to answer the question. So for this question, let's say it looks so easy. What is negligence? Just a definition, very low level of Bloom taxonomy code. So just maybe make it just 10 seconds. Okay. And do you want this? Faster correct answers get more points. If you don't want it, untick it. Otherwise, tick. Now, last time, Mentimeter does not have music tau. Kahoot has. Mentimeter does not have music. But this is very recent. See, it's the word new here. I just checked. They have music. So you can just add. You want this to be your music? Can. So you just add music in. That's why you notice my quiz just now, it doesn't have music because apa ni namanya? When I was doing that quiz, this function was still not available. Okay, this is very important in terms of our instructional design. Do you want the leaderboard or not? Because some lectures, based on the workshops that I've conducted before, right? Some workshop participants, lecturers lah, they will ask me this question: do we really have to put the leaderboard? Because I do not want my students to feel pressured that they're competing against each other. As long as they can know that, they can feel that this is a quiz, and at the end of it, they can see who is the winner. I think that's sufficient. Rather than we see in each question who is better, who is not so good. So if you don't want that, just remove the leaderboard. Let's say I press this. Yeah, you see what happens here on the left side. Now you can see the question. Automatically there will be a leaderboard after that. Let's say we remove this. Okay, the leaderboard is gone. Okay, azan ya. So I'll just we wait until the end of azan. Okay, so now we continue. Okay, so now we continue. Is there, Cik Nazri ada apa-apa soalan ke dalam ruang chat untuk saya jawab? Ada tak? Tak ada Cik Nazri?
Tak ada.
Okay, so
I want to ask.
yes.
So actually, besides for gamification of learning, this function, if let's say we take out the leaderboard and we also take out the fastest with higher marks, we can use this as quiz for assessment as well, right?
You
It's
can.
not suitable?
It's not very suitable. If you want to
Why?
use quiz for assessment, I would suggest two other tools. We will be covering that in the last workshop. Maybe you can explore first. It's called Quizzes. Another one is Edpuzzle. Because for assessment purposes, it's better for you to have a tool that will help you to look at each question. The achievement of the students for each question. They can analyze their progress. We will look at that in the last. Tapi kalau macam Mentimeter ni, the quiz function ni, it will just give you the student's answer. That's it. It doesn't analyze for each question how many students answer. This student answer which one? Apa semua dia tak ada benda tu.
I see. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. At the end of the quiz, Mentimeter will be sending you an email, and you can see an example of things that they provide you with lah. It's not as comprehensive as quizzes or Socrates. It's not as comprehensive. Okay, any other questions that you want to ask on this?
Salam Izan.
Yeah.
Aiman here.
Yeah, bro.
What I really want to know is, how do you manage all these tools in your lesson plan? That's something that I think with your experience because I suppose we probably need to come up with what you have discussed earlier, instructional design, and then you can about lesson plan, and then you have to slot in where and where again.
Yeah.
So and we've been told, at least at UIA, CPD, when our ITD punya learning platform, they have told us that obviously we have to look at it from the student's perspective and shouldn't be using too many tools.
Yes.
Okay. So macam mana tu? If you can share how you decide.
Okay, I think that's a very good question. This is a very popular question. Every time I give workshop, this is one of the most popular concerns lah. All the tools that I shared are not necessarily used in all my subjects all throughout the semester. Okay, some of the tools. Okay, let me just show you something. Actually, I prepared this, but I tak tunjuk je kejap. Actually, this is the category of tools that I have shared in my workshops. Okay, there are 3 classifications. Firstly, number 1, I've used it in my class. Number 2, I've partially used it in my class. Number 3, I've not used it in my class at all, but I'm aware of its suitability. For example, Kialo, I've only used it like once per semester. It depends on the topic. For example, this week I'm teaching prerogative rates. So prerogative rate is something that is not so common in legal practice. Not all law firms will do it. Not all lawyers practice this. So I don't think the instructional objectives that I want to achieve for my students is for them to know how to draft it. But I think it's sufficient for them just to know the concept, the preconditions to apply for it, and what are the documents. That's it. So if that is my instructional objective, so then I choose my tool. My tool doesn't have to be the ones that I need to use for experiential learning. It's sufficient for them to maybe do a collaborative learning through Jamboard, and I can just ask questions there and they can just brainstorm. So that is sufficient. So that is how I usually choose my tool. And you are right in one sense. I myself do not usually use many tools in one semester. But in workshops, I provide all the tools. It's up to the participants to choose which tool that suits them the best. But for my class, for example, let's take an example. For this semester, I use only Mentimeter and Mentimeter, exam.net, and quizzes. Yeah. That's about it. Just 3 tools je. Cuma I think bila kita, when we have face-to-face class, it's easier for us to lessen the tool. Tapi macam kalau we are doing online learning, sometimes we have to have more tools because we want to achieve the instruction objective that we want to achieve kan. So that's how I do it lah. Does that answer the question tak, Prof?
Yeah. Like, at which point of time would you inform your students?
Okay. Okay. There are 2 ways of how I do it. Okay, but I do, because sometimes when I see this, the lecturers will, okay, we're not going to do that. Okay, so but the first way is I will usually prepare beforehand. Let's say, for example, the semester is going to open in September. Usually in August during this term holidays too, I will already be meeting with the class rep. Before the semester starts, either online or meeting them face-to-face lah. So I meet them online and I start to discuss with them. Okay, I start to do my need analysis, check the type of students, and I already prepared like a questionnaire. Maybe I can share that with everyone juga nanti at the end of this 4 series too. The questions that I ask to my students in terms of their capabilities, their semua tu, from there I assess which students have what type of students do I have? Kinesthetic learners, or is it visual learner ke apa semua tu lah, the VAP model tu. So based on that, macam this semester I'm a bit difficult because when I did that need analysis, I realized that 90% of my students are kinesthetic learners for this semester. So when things become online, fully online, it's very challenging for me to find something that could be useful for kinesthetic learners. Because kinesthetic learners, if you give them podcast too long, if you give them video, teaching video yang too long, they will not be able to focus. So I have to use so many tools ever since PKP ni start. Tapi otherwise kalau face to face, okay, banyak benda boleh buat secara face to face. So that's one way. I meet and prepare before the semester start. I terus lay down with the class rep 14 weeks tu. Week 1, what is the topic, what is the activity, and what is the what are the tools. I use flipped class. So flipped class meaning that my style is a week before the class, they will be given a link to watch teaching videos, learning videos. So they will learn the theories and concepts asynchronously first. This is even before COVID. Maknanya even during normal time pun I tak buat face-to-face lecture. It's all flipped. So all 14 weeks I will plan flipped class, flipped lessons will come out when. So we decided, me and the class rep, okay, the flipped lesson will come out a week before that particular class. For example, week 1 is introduction. So the flipped lesson for week 2 will come out today during the first day of the first week. So the next week though, after class though, the lesson for the week after that will come out. Okay, so that is for the theories and the concept, all flipped. Okay, for the pengukuhan, the enhancement of their knowledge is during the face-to-face class. So what will I be doing? Daripada first sampai 14 week tu, okay, week 1 I nak buat apa, week 2 I nak buat apa, then baru I decide the tool yang I nak guna tu apa. Like what Prof said tu, I agree with you. So as much as possible, I will try to do an activity that can be done using one app. So dia akan download maybe 2 or 3 apps there for the whole semester. That's one way of doing it lah. Another way that I've also done is to do it on a weekly basis. So I finished the class today. So next week's punya class, what am I going to do? So I plan it. Today baru habis class, I will feel very exhausted. Tomorrow I will plan, design, and then my class is usually on Wednesday. So I finished the class today. So tomorrow I will rest, Thursday, and Friday I will design. Saturday I will blast announcement to students in WhatsApp group. Okay, for this Wednesday's class, I'm going to be using Kialo. So please download this ataupun please try and open this and be familiar with it. So bila datang Wednesday tu, I just continue je lah. That's another way of doing it a week before. Boleh ke, Prof?
Okay, yes, clear, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? I think we are now, it's already 1:25. I don't think we have time to go to a new tool ke apa ke. So if there's anything that you want to ask, you want to ni apa semua, or maybe I can just, because tadi just now Prof Aiman ada tanya soalan pasal Flipgrid, just a very quick one. Flipgrid is a tool that you can use for activity for subjects that requires oral answers tau. Macam mooting, macam civil procedure, maybe legal method, I'm not sure. Okay, Flipgrid. So you go to Flipgrid. Okay, there's a button for educators to sign up. Okay, I will be logging into my own account. Okay, so you can log in with your Google. I will just show you an example, yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is Flipgrid. Okay, so an example would be this one. This is my class Flipgrid. So I teach them how to do opening statements. This is for hujahan, you know, because when we teach oral submission, because law includes things like this, kan? So you want to teach them oral submissions. So this is what I do. This is for opening statement. This is to explain the structure of submission. This is how you do submission via affidavit and exhibit. This is how you respond to your applicant, and this is how you end your submission. So it's a practice thing. So you can also use this for assessment actually. So let's look at this one. Okay. So I explain to them, this is the title, all right, and I explain to them what is this grid all about. Imagine that you are the senior counsel for the applicant in an interlocutory application hearing. Record yourself making the opening statement and introduce yourself and your co-counsel and all your opposing counsels. Please use Bahasa Malaysia, because of course in UK we use Bahasa Malaysia lah. So when introduce your co-counsel and opposing counsel, please use encik, whatever, blah, blah, blah. All right, then you can see these are the recordings from the students. So they just record themselves. I have shown them an example in their WhatsApp group. So I said, just follow the example. So they just follow. Okay, let's take one student. Let's say this one over here. So when we click, it will play the students' recording. So you can actually grade the students as well. Okay, so that's why I say you can use for assessment. Move on to the next student.
Is there any limits for the recording with the video?
Sorry, come again? Sorry,
limit of time, duration.
Yes, maximum is 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
Yes, maximum is 5 minutes. Okay, so move on to the next student. That's how you do it. So okay, so this is something that you can use for subjects or modules that require you to ask the students to, you know, practice something that is oral, not something that is based on text or image. Why is this better than other platforms? Okay, some of you might ask me, we can always use WhatsApp, right, to record, or we can use other things. But there's a difference tau, macam Flipgrid, because it's actually a platform that is focusing on videos. So it's actually quicker, it's actually faster. When the students click and they want to do it, the system too is faster compared to Padlet. You can also use this in Padlet, but Padlet is diverse. The function is diverse. So sometimes when you want to record the video, it loads for a very long time. This one is quicker because it focuses only on this. So this is an example lah. And how you want to invite your students to come in and to do this, you basically just click this button, share over here. Okay, and then this is the link. Or you can just give them the code, the flip code. This is the flip code over here. They can just go to Flipgrid. They go to Flipgrid. Then they can they can enter via a browser, the Flipgrid browser, and just enter the flip code. Okay, we don't have time to explore this, but I'm just showing so that at least those who are teaching these kind of subjects also have some something to use lah. Okay, so it's already 1:30. Any last questions that you wish to ask? Anything? Sekejap ya, I stop sharing. Tak ada. Semua orang pun nampak ada tempat. Yes, Kak Jam. Yes, Kak Jam bot.
Kalau nak tanya, kalau macam Flipgrid tu, kalau kita nak buat, sebab dia 5 minutes saja kan? Is there any other options for like longer sessions?
Oh, if you want to use for proper submissions memang tak boleh yang tu.
Boleh lah kan.
Tak boleh. That
So
one
that
is
means
for practice je.
we either have to resort to, go back to Zoom lah kan.
Synchronous, yes. Or you can use Padlet lah, tapi it loads a bit longer than Flipgrid lah.
Okay. Alright.
Any other questions?
Can I see your last slide, study?
Last slide, okay. Kejap ya. This one, is it? Is it this one? Oh, who asked the question just now?
I did. I lupa unmute I punya mic. Sorry.
Okay. Is it this one?
Yes. So, I'm interested in the experiential learning tools ni. So about Flipgrid, okay. A question about Flipgrid. Dia, okay, katakanlah student share dengan kita dia punya video semua tu kan. Can other student watch it?
Sorry. May I know who is this?
Aisyah.
Okay. Tiba suara
sorry.
jadi macam lebih sedap pada tadi kan. Okay. So
can other student see the video that student lain hantar kat kita kan, dia orang submit video tu kan?
Yes.
Semua orang boleh access lah, kiranya macam student lain pun boleh tengok other people punya submission.
Betul. Because it's also a collaborative learning tool sebenarnya. It's like you see others do it and you learn from others juga. So if you intend to give marks for this, it should be assessment as learning. The allocation of marks should not be so big lah, because they can actually see each other doing it kan. But if you want it to be very private, meaning you don't want them to copy each other, then you might as well just maybe ask them to record themselves and email to you or share in Google Drive and then give the link to you ke apa ke. That's better. But tapi what I realize is in experiential learning kan, because we learn based on experience. So sometimes when we go to court and then we listen to other counsels submitting, then we learn from there as well. So it's more or less using that same concept lah. You look at other people, you also learn from them macam tu.
Okay. Like peer-to-peer review macam tu lah. Macam you learn from what your friend do. Okay.
It's good that you ask that question, because in Flipgrid and also in Padlet, you can actually review your friend's presentation. Because the one that I showed you just now, sebenarnya I did not have the time to show in detail. But for each of those video, I've assigned 2 other assessor among them. So meaning, okay, this person's video will be assessed by 2 other person. And that 2 other friends too will comment apa yang ditengok daripada video tu. There's a box over there where you can add the comment at the bottom of each video.
I see.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Doktor, kita nak minta sedikit explain live board tu.
Live board, okay. Live board ni kalau you are using you are using the case analysis method, this is very useful. Okay, let me just show you very quickly especially I think case method kan something yang common among law kan. Okay, live board, you pick up Google, you go to Google and you just type live board like this, live board. Okay, so can you see the green plus button at the bottom? Can you see this? Can somebody say something? Yes, okay.
Yes.
Click the green plus button ni. 3 options will come out. So if you want them to study a case together with you, right? So you click create PDF, bearing in mind, of course, you must have the PDF version of the case in your laptop lah. So you click PDF, lepas tu you go to the case that you have. For example, I have this case over here. Okay, so it will put up the case in this live board. Hang on, it takes some time lah for 13 pages to be uploaded. The more pages you have in your PDF, the longer it will take lah. Tapi maybe you do not want the students to study the whole thing kan. Maybe you have certain parts ke apa ke, then not everything. Say for example you have 115 pages of a case, but from my experience, usually for that particular, if the case is too long, sometimes not all issues are related to your subject kan. So you just choose the parts yang berkaitan lah. Okay, otherwise kalau no choice memang semua kena naik lah, or you choose a shorter case maybe just for the purpose of this activity. If you want to use this tool, that is. Okay, so you open the board, okay, the keys will be there tau. So what you can do is, can you see my cursor on the right? Pages, right? The pages button. When you click pages button, all the case pages will appear here. Okay. Okay. Say for example, you want the students to read this case at katakanlah this page. You want them to read, and then katakanlah this is a civil procedure class. You say you want them to identify what is the main issue in the case based on this page, for example. So you can actually, what you do is, you just share dulu, make sure they are in this virtual class. The concept is similar to Coggle just now. You add them by pressing this button over here. Okay. Hang on, yeah. Invite. Okay, then you can enter their names. But the good thing about Livebot in comparison to Coggle is that you can actually just give them a code. So you don't actually have to add one by one macam Coggle too. What you do is you just take this code and share it with the student. I say, tell them just to install the app in their phone, or maybe they just go to a browser, go to Livebot and enter this code, and they will be in this class. So what you can do is you can ask them to use the tool over here. Okay, let me just show you. Yeah, if I want to teach them using this, I will just use this left button over here, the hand button over the jari penunjuk ni. Okay, this one. Can you see? Hang on. Okay, can you see? Oh, okay. Of course, you will not be able to see because you're looking at my screen. But if, let's say, for example, you join, okay, this class using the code that I'm giving just now, when I use this pointer over here, not pointer tau, this one is this, the jari ni, the finger ni. So when I move like this, they will see a hand moving with my name on it. Any student doing the same thing, if I say, I want you to show me what is the cause of action, then he's using this button and then he moves to this. For example, you see the hand, right? You don't see anything here because it's my screen as a teacher. But if somebody else moves, you can see the name with the hand moving. Okay? And if, let's say, for example, you want the students to highlight certain things, so that person can just do this. All right? This ataupun apa ni, change it to highlighter. Okay, like this. So can annotate lah together. The good thing about this is that you can do it together. It can be synchronous, meaning all students are here looking at the same case, and you can direct the students to actually apa ni, do things relating to the case. Read, identify the facts, for example, show me the facts, whatever you can just instruct them. And you can record the session as well. Whatever change that they do on the case, you can click here, then it will record. Stop, then you can see. See? Okay, I think that's about all that I can show for Livebot lah, due to the time constraint. Anything that you want to ask about Livebot before I end? Sorry?
This Livebot, you have to download something in order for you to show to the students, right?
I have to what? Sorry, download something. Yeah, you have to have the case.
So meaning that you can't start with like a blank space and then you write something on it.
Can. Because I was talking from the context of case study method just now. But if you want to just use it as a blank board, go back to your dashboard, okay, and you just press the green plus button here. But instead of creating from PDF, you just create a board. So when you create a board, so you can just use this for the purpose of normal blackboard lah. So you just write. Okay.
All right.
Or you want to write nicely, just use text. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Okay, I stopped sharing. Yeah. Okay. No other questions, right? I think that was very compact within 3 hours. Okay. I've given as many tools as I possibly can, but I like the fact that Prof. Aiman asked me that question just now. I do not use all the apps in one semester. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I give you like 20 plus tools. Doesn't mean I use 20 plus tools in my semester. No, it depends on what I want to achieve for that particular semester, and I adjust accordingly. Okay, so I've given you the options. I've enriched your options. You can choose which one suits you the best lah. Okay. If you don't have any other questions, then we'll take a group photo. Laili.
Okey, dah hampir dah doktor.
Belum lah, kejap tunggulah sekali lagi. Diorang semua baru nak buka kamera. Tadi baru golek-golek dekat depan TV ke apa kan.
Okey, kejap.
Tak sempat nak posing lagi. Ada 3 frame tau apa ni Laili. So Laili buat satu-satu
Okey, saya minta Cik Nazri yang ambil kan.
Oh, Cik Nazri ambil kan? Okey. Okay, ready? Dah Cik Nazri?
Belum.
Cik Nazri pakai screen ke? Actually boleh print screen tau.
Tahu. Tadi dah.
Okay.
Tadi dah.
Okay. Semua 3 frame ke? 3 Dah? Ready? Done?
Sekejap.
Kak Syuk buat muka kurus lah tu. Okay. Dan Cik Nazri? Dah penat senyum dah ni.
Lagi satu.
Okay. Okay. Done? Done
Okay.
Alright. Thank you everyone. I think this is the last workshop before the Aidilfitri kan?
Yes.
Thank you,
Mizan. Okay, selamat Hari Raya.
Selamat Hari Raya.
Bye.
Selamat Raya semua.
Bye.
Terima kasih banyak.
Syah,
Thank you.